Chapter 193. Qin Zhen nodded. He didn't like to talk, even when he was with Yan Beifong. Also, your cultivation is improving faster, but it's not solid enough. Follow your senior brothers and sisters to the Empyrean Terminus Tower to do some missions, but don't come into contact with the more dangerous ones. Yan Beibei instructed again. Qin Aoshuan was Yan Beifong's disciple, and he was quite satisfied with him. He returned to his hometown and became the vice mayor of the city. Yan Beifong had already announced that he would be appointed as the mayor of the city. Qin Zhen was Qin Aoshuan's only son, but he didn't have an extravagant aura. Instead, he cultivated very hard. After he advanced before the disciple recruitment ceremony, he increased his cultivation by 1 level in a short period of time. My disciple started cultivating with Night Sorrow. He's very hard-working and outstanding. I'm not much worse than him, Qin Zhen said after thinking for a while. Friends don't discriminate between nobility and lowly, but you have to know that if you're on the same level, you'll feel more comfortable drinking and chatting together. Don't feel inferior and don't feel inferior, Yan Beifong reminded Qin Zhen with his life experience. Night Sorrow returned to the bamboo grove and flew towards Crepe Myrtle with Aoi. How's your little friend? Aoi asked. Very good. He's working very hard. He's already reached the 2nd level of Element Gathering tier, Night Sorrow said. He's very talented and has a good personality. Aoi had a high opinion of Qin Zhen. Soon, Tianyu arrived at the square in front of Crepe Myrtle. After getting off the Tianyu, Night Sorrow asked Tianyu to lie down on the ground. Then, he walked towards the Crepe Myrtle Palace with Aoi. Martial Ant Aoi is here. What's wrong? Martial Ant Knight. Do you need Martial Ant Aoi's protection to come to Crepe Myrtle? Crepe Myrtle's disciple, Huang Qian, greeted Aoi when she saw the two of them. She then glanced sideways at Night Sorrow and said, I don't know who's who, so I'll ask 6th senior sister to come over. If there's anyone I need to introduce, please introduce them to me. Night Sorrow was stumped by Huang Qian's words. We will all introduce ourselves. Lan Yu walked over from the direction of the main hall square, followed by some female disciples. Night Sorrow didn't know what to say. At the same time, he also knew that Crepe Myrtle's disciple wasn't someone to be trifled with. Regardless of his strength, his words were very sharp. What are you guys doing? Martial Ant is here. Why aren't you inviting her into the main hall? Suddenly, a woman in her 30s walked out from the main hall. Greetings, Senior Sister Lu. Aoi cupped her hands towards the woman. This woman was Yi Xiling's 3rd disciple, Lu Jingyun. She joined the sect around the same time as Aoi, so it wasn't easy to differentiate between senior and junior sisters. However, she was ranked high in Crepe Myrtle, so Aoi called her senior sister. Junior sister Aoi is too polite. Senior sister invited junior brother Night over. This is a bit difficult. Lu Jingyun smiled at Night Sorrow and led the way. At the same time, she asked Huang Qian to inform Tang Qianqian. Since Yi Xiling was often in seclusion, Crepe Myrtle's matters were taken care of by Tang Qianqian. This was a common phenomenon in all the peaks. The older generation had to work hard to break through, while the younger generation had to train their management skills. Greetings, Senior Sister. I've been busy with missions and cultivation, so I didn't come over. Please forgive me. After entering the main hall, Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Lu Jingyun. Is that so? It's good that it's not because of other reasons. It's our master's idea to invite you as a guest. Lu Jingyun pointed at the seats and invited Aoi and Night Sorrow to sit down. Thank you for your kind invitation, Peak Leader Yi. Night Sorrow politely returned the gesture. How long has it been? You really don't have any respect for Master and Crepe Myrtle. A woman walked in from outside. The woman was tall and slender. Her fine black hair was tied behind her head. Her eyes were very beautiful, but there was a hint of coldness in them. She was wearing a sapphire blue dress that matched her very well. The only thing that didn't match was the layer of frost on her face. Jingyi, don't say that. Maybe junior brother Night is really busy, Lu Jingyun said. This was Crepe Myrtle and Yi Xiling's disciple, Lin Jingyi. She was quite strong and was quite famous in Medicine Valley. What's wrong? Do I have to come just because you invited me? Hearing Lin Jingyi's words, Night Sorrow was dissatisfied. She shouldn't treat a guest like this. Are you not giving face to Crepe Myrtle? Lin Jingyi coldly looked at Night Sorrow. Respect is mutual. If you don't give me face, why should I give face to others? Night Sorrow coldly said. All right, Jingyi, what are you doing? How can you treat your junior brother like this? Tang Qianqian walked into the hall. 13. This is senior sister Tang. Aoi stood up and cupped her hands at Tang Qianqian. Junior sister Aoi, you're too polite. Back then, Master went to talk to Martial Uncle Lu and wanted to invite you over. Unfortunately, Martial Uncle Lu refused. Otherwise, we would be dear martial sisters. Tang Qianqian sat down and said with a smile. It's still the same now. We're both Medicine Valley's disciples, so we're dear martial sisters, Aoi said with a smile. Junior brother Knight, I wanted to set a precedent and bring you to Crepe Myrtle during the disciple recruitment ceremony last year, but I didn't succeed, Tang Qianqian said with a smile on her face. Thank you, senior sister Tang, Night Sorrow nodded and said. Now, my master still hopes that you can come to Crepe Myrtle, Tang Qianqian said. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation, above 0. Thank you, Peak Master. I'm here now, although I'm a little late. Night Sorrow stood up and cupped his hands. He thought that Tang Qianqian wanted to invite him to Crepe Myrtle as a guest. Junior brother Knight, you must have misunderstood. My master hopes that you can join Crepe Myrtle, Tang Qianqian said straightforwardly. I'm sorry, I'm a disciple of Taishan Peak, so I can't join Crepe Myrtle. Night Sorrow was stunned for a moment, then he refused. You really don't know what's good for you. Lin Jingyi said coldly as she glared at Night Sorrow. Well, don't you think senior sister Lin is pretty? Many Medicine Valley's disciples have their eyes on her. Master said that if you come, she'll make the decision to marry her to you. Tang Qianqian threw a bomb. It was also a big meat bun that a man would find hard to refuse, because Lin Jingyi was indeed very beautiful, and her temperament was also the kind of cold and aloof. Besides, Grandmaster also said that you can choose a few more girls besides junior sister Lin. Lan Yu, who was standing beside Tang Qianqian, said with a smile while covering her mouth. Senior sister, are you gloating over my misfortune? Sometimes, it's easy to be sad after joy, Huang Chen said. Yes, Master arranged it this way. They can all be with you, Tang Qianqian pointed at the other girls in the hall, including Lan Yu. This made Lan Yu a little dumbfounded. Retribution came too quickly, but fortunately, Night Sorrow's answer made her feel a little more at ease. Sorry, unless you kick me out of Medicine Valley, I won't leave Taishan Peak. Night Sorrow's attitude was very firm. Chapter 194. Night Sorrow also stood up and touched the reincarnation spear with his right hand. Junior sister Lin, this isn't appropriate, right? Aoi, who had been silent all this while, stood up and said. Aoi didn't say anything even when Tang Qianqian tried to poach Lin Jingyi. However, Aoi couldn't tolerate Lin Jingyi making a move. Jingyi, sit down. Tang Qianqian shouted at Lin Jingyi. She sounded unhappy because it was indeed inappropriate for her to do this. Not liking you is my problem. However, I will remember that you don't like me. Lin Jingyi stood up and left the hall. Lin Jingyi was in a bad mood recently. She was the outstanding second-generation disciple of Crepe Myrtle. However, Yi Xiling arranged for her to be with Night Sorrow. If Night Sorrow agreed to come to Crepe Myrtle, then she would be in charge of receiving and comforting him. In other words, she would become a bargaining chip to win over Night Sorrow. Lin Jingyi objected immediately. However, Yi Xiling didn't accept her objection and told her that this wasn't to make things difficult for her. Therefore, she was extremely unhappy when she saw Night Sorrow today. 13. Someone is holding a grudge against you. Aoi shook her head and sat down. She understood that the truth was just as Lin Jingyi said. Women could not like you, but if you didn't like them, then it was a sin. Sorry. Sixth senior sister. Let's go. Night Sorrow said. He didn't want to stay here and look at other people's faces. My junior sister's personality is like this. She is a bit cold. Don't mind her. Tang Qianqian smiled apologetically. It's fine. They are all young people. It is normal for them to have a bit of temper. Senior sister Tang, if you have time, come visit me in the bamboo grove. Aoi stood up and said. Night Sorrow and Aoi rode Tianyu back to the bamboo grove on Taishan Peak. What's wrong? Is junior brother still angry? Aoi asked. I'm not angry. I just think they're a little unreasonable, Night Sorrow said. Not many women are reasonable, Aoi said with a smile. Not really. 6th senior sister and 9th senior sister are very reasonable, Night Sorrow said with a smile. That's because I'm trying to reason with you. I don't need to do that with others. Emo-chan and Chu Lingfei appeared, dressed in festive outfits. Congratulations. 11th senior brother. Congratulations. Big sister Lingfei. Night Sorrow bowed. Thank you. Your face-preserving pill is a treasure. Thank you, junior brother. Chu Lingfei reached out to help Night Sorrow up. I'll be more careful in the future, Yishang said, a little embarrassed. My cultivation has delayed my business. Emo-chan smiled and shook his head. Did you go to Crepe Myrtle and get bullied? Night Sorrow didn't say anything, so Aoi repeated it with a smile. Haha, that Lin Jingyi is a famous cold beauty. You directly rejected her, which is equivalent to slapping her face. That's why she's unhappy. Of course, she's also unhappy that you agreed, Chu Lingfei said with a smile. Night Sorrow understood this and didn't say anything. He would just stay away from Crepe Myrtle in the future. After eating with Aoi, Emo-chan, and Chu Lingfei, he was about to leave. There's something I need to remind you. After a while, the disciples will be able to return home. Are you going back to Bamboo Garden Town? Aoi asked. I'm going back. I'm going to see Old Man Gu and Uncle Nyo. You guys can call me when the time comes. After making his decision, Night Sorrow rode on Tianyu and left Taishan Peak. He was going back to the Dragon Spring Courtyard to cultivate. 13 is really hard-working. I have to work hard too. Lingfei's cultivation is higher than mine, Emo-chan said while rubbing his nose. All these years, he had been chasing Luo Sihai and had delayed a lot of his cultivation time. However, his combat ability was strong and his foundation was solid. When he returned to the Dragon Spring Courtyard, it was already midnight. After feeding Tianyu, Night Sorrow went to cultivate. When Night Sorrow returned, Hua Yunping knew. When he saw Night Sorrow's cultivation, he was shocked. Night Sorrow's cultivation speed was too fast and solid. After cultivating for a night, Night Sorrow went to the dining room for breakfast. When he arrived, Hua Yunpeng was already eating. Grand Elder is here. Night Sorrow sat across from Hua Yunpeng. Hua Yunpeng smiled and nodded. I realize that living here is a pleasure. The environment is pleasant and I can eat delicious dishes every day. Then Grand Elder can stay here. Yi Shan took the food that Hai Luo brought over and began to eat with his head lowered. Night Sorrow didn't flatter Hua Yunpeng just because he was the Grand Elder. He lived his life as usual. After eating, he went to cultivate his spear art and fist art. He had the opportunity to learn the Wind Thunder Sword art. When he submitted the book, the sect would allow it as long as he mentioned it. However, he didn't like sword arts. He felt that sword arts weren't as domineering as spear arts and weren't suitable for him. While cultivating his spear art and fist art, Night Sorrow didn't forget to cultivate his movement technique. He wanted to combine cloud movement technique and dragon leap steps. Watching Yi Shang cultivate was a form of enjoyment for Hua Yunpeng. The beauty of strength was evident on Yi Shang's body. Every time after cultivating, Night Sorrow would drink tea with Hua Yunpeng. When it comes to cultivating movement techniques, you might have walked into a dead end. It is very difficult to perfectly combine two types of movement techniques. Try to focus on one type of movement technique, then slowly add in the other type of movement technique. You can integrate it bit by bit, Hua Yunpeng said. Only 4 is Z proper version Z, M equals T, E is all F, C is P hashtag thief version N. Okay, thank you Grand Elder for your guidance. Night Sorrow nodded. In the afternoon, Night Sorrow rode Tianyu into Danding City. He wanted to see Yang Lei and Enforcer Dong. Before going to Tianji Tower, Night Sorrow bought some cooked food and wine before going to see Enforcer Dong. Seeing Night Sorrow, Enforcer Dong smiled. You came. If you didn't come, I would have gone to the City Lord's mansion. Your letter. Enforcer Dong took out a letter and handed it to Night Sorrow. Without caring about Enforcer Dong's presence, Night Sorrow opened the letter. After reading the letter, Night Sorrow's face turned gloomy. The contents of the letter made him angry. The Sikong clan and Ji clan were pressuring Yunwu Mountain at the same time. Of course, Yunwu Mountain wouldn't compromise. It was fine with the Sikong clan, but the pressure from the Ji clan made Yunwu Mountain furious. They directly started to wipe out some of the Ji clan's businesses and forces. The conflict escalated. In order to not make things difficult for her grandfather, Sikong Chuyu chose to leave again. This time, she didn't have a goal and just went wherever she wanted. Knight Sorrow's face turned livid. He took a deep breath to calm himself down. He was too angry. This is how the world works. What you need is strength. The Ji clan is strong, so they are lawless. That's why the Sikong clan needs such a marriage alliance. However, the son-in-law is very strong this time. He directly asked the Ji clan to retreat. He won't allow anyone to touch Yunwu Mountain, Enforcer Dong said. Chapter 195. Then isn't the current situation of Mount Yunwu very good? Yi Shan asked after putting away the letter. Not really. Yunwu Mountain's weakness is that it's a new force without many years of inheritance. However, the Mountain Master is very strong. It won't be easy for the Ji family to do anything. Besides, although my son-in-law isn't the head of the Sikong family, he has his own force. He won't let the Ji family touch Yunwu Mountain, Enforcer Dong said. Sikong sent me a letter saying that the Sikong family is also putting pressure on Yunwu Mountain, Night Sorrow said. That's just a part of the Sikong family. The Ji family is the same. It's not the whole family's decision, Enforcer Dong said. I'm worried about Sikong's safety now. It's not safe for her to walk around alone, Night Sorrow said worriedly. Don't worry. Miss is the inspector of Tianji Tower. She can go anywhere she wants and won't be in any danger. Those who don't know their place are no match for her. Everyone knows that the people of Tianji Tower are not to be trifled with, Enforcer Dong said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that Enforcer Dong was telling the truth, but he was still worried. After drinking a jar of wine with Enforcer Dong, Night Sorrow left Tianji Tower and went to Yang Lei's mansion. 13 You're here. Yang Lei was very happy to see Night Sorrow. Ninth senior sister, Night Sorrow greeted her. What's wrong? Are you in a bad mood? Yang Lei, who was familiar with Night Sorrow, asked. Night Sorrow told her about the letter from Sikong Chuyu. That Ji family is shameless. So is the Sikong family, Yang Lei said angrily. I can't help her when she's in trouble. Night Sorrow was a little depressed. 13 Do you like Sikong? Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and asked seriously. I don't know. I'm just worried about her. I don't want her to get into trouble, Night Sorrow said after some hesitation. I can't contact her now. Why don't we let her come to Taishan Peak? She'll be absolutely safe there, Yang Lei said. Night Sorrow nodded and said nothing. Here, this is the top quality silk you brought back. Senior sister found a craftsman to make a few robes. Yang Lei took out a few folded robes. Then, Yang Lei asked Night Sorrow to try it. Night Sorrow knew that Yang Lei wanted to make him happy, so he didn't refuse. Night Sorrow looked very spirited when wearing the top-grade silk robe that was tailored and sewn by a high-level craftsman. It was a pure white silk robe with hidden flower patterns. The collar, hem, and cuffs of the robe were all embroidered with red, making it look very impressive. 13 You look so handsome in it. I made a few of them. You can wear this in the future, Yang Lei said happily. If someone else wore this robe, they might look arrogant and extravagant. Young master, you have a different temperament when wearing it, Qiushu said. Then I'll wear it. Yi Shang also liked it. This kind of open front robe was quite comfortable to wear. That night, Night Sorrow didn't leave. He stayed at Yang Lei's place. What they didn't know was that a fire phoenix flew over and landed some distance away from Danding City. A woman wearing a bamboo hat entered the city, found a beast carriage, and left Danding City. After cultivating for a night, Yang Lei asked Shen Ziming to bring the disciples to Longquan Courtyard. She didn't want to stay in the mansion, so she wanted to bring the disciples to Longquan Courtyard to cultivate. After all, Longquan Courtyard was big. Even if they didn't use it, they would be free. Night Sorrow and Yang Lei arrived first. Shen Ziming brought over 30 disciples and rode the beast carriage. When Yang Lei saw Hua Yunpeng, she was shocked. The previous valley master, the current Grand Elder, was actually staying at Night Sorrow's place. She also knew that this was a peak stage 5 practitioner. In the Medicine Valley, he was definitely the #1 person. Even the Grand Elder of the Medicine Valley couldn't compare to him. One must know that after entering the 5th Order, every step forward was extremely difficult. A mid-5th Order killing an early 5th Order was as easy as chopping vegetables. How strong was Hua Yunpeng at the peak of the 5th Order? Yang Lei did not know. Seeing Hua Yunpeng, Night Sorrow cupped his hands. Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and then bowed. Yang Lei, you're not as good as your junior brother in this aspect. Just say hello and let me know that you're here. There's no need to be so formal. Hua Yunpeng said with a smile. Disciple understands. Yang Lei nodded. Aren't you the city lord of Danding City? Are you very free? Hua Yunpeng asked. Yes, I've arranged everything for the 2 vice city lords, as well as the elders and protectors. They're in charge of the area. If something happens, I'll look for them. So disciple has nothing to do. Yang Lei said with some embarrassment. This is the way of managing people. Not bad. Hua Yunpeng didn't blame Yang Lei. Instead, he felt that Yang Lei did a good job. Night Sorrow didn't stay with Hua Yunpeng and Yang Lei for long. He played with the silver fox cub for a while and then went to cultivate. In the following days, Night Sorrow stayed at the Dragon Spring Courtyard to cultivate. When he was cultivating his battle skills, he brought Tianyu and the silver fox to the Celestial Lake to cultivate. This cultivation lasted for more than half a month. Night Sorrow's cultivation level rose sharply. Although he was still some distance away from the 9th level of Element Gathering Realm and the 6th level of Muscle Strengthening Realm, he wasn't far away. Yang Lei told Night Sorrow that the Spirit Gathering Formation at Taishan Peak was about to open. She asked Night Sorrow if he wanted to go. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow decided not to go. The Spirit Gathering Formation wasn't as effective as the one at Danding Cliff. If they were comparing the speed of absorbing energy, the Spirit Gathering Formation was faster. However, after absorbing energy, one's cultivation level would be unstable. It wasn't as solid as the one at Danding Cliff. Moreover, the absorption speed at Danding Cliff wasn't slow either. Night Sorrow had been back at the Dragon Spring Courtyard for more than half a month. He planned to return to Danding Cliff to cultivate and raise his cultivation level to the 9th level of Element Gathering Realm and the 6th level of Muscle Strengthening Realm. Haha, you have the authority to cultivate without limit at Danding Cliff. Indeed, you don't need to care about the opening of the Spirit Gathering Formation, Yang Lei said with a smile. After chatting with Night Sorrow for a while, Yang Lei led her disciples to Taishan Peak. Night Sorrow didn't care about this opportunity, but Yang Lei's disciples all needed it. After Yang Lei left, Night Sorrow and Hua Yunpeng stayed together and drank tea. Night Sorrow, this silver fox isn't simple. You need to stay by his side often. You don't need to do anything. Just let him get familiar with you. In the future, he'll be of help to you. But it's not very convenient. Night Sorrow was a bit worried. The beast-taming space Tianyu was given to him by Tai Tsong. How could he still have a beast-taming space crystal? I don't have a beast-taming space crystal here. How about this? I'll give you some spirit stones. Go to Tianji Tower and exchange for one. Hua Yunpeng smiled and took out a few high-grade crystals. And / Spirit stones can be exchanged? Then I have some here. There's no need to trouble Grand Elder. Night Sorrow said. He really didn't lack spirit stones. In Lu Shan Venerable's cave, he had obtained quite a lot of spirit stones. Take it. These spirit stones are useless to me. You can use them. I want to remind you that there must be a limit to your cultivation. Go to Danding Cliff and raise your cultivation level. Stabilize it for 2 days and come back. Don't just stay up there and not come back down, Hua Yunpeng said. Grand Elder, but I'm really in a hurry to enter the core formation realm, Night Sorrow said. Chapter 196. Night Sorrow didn't hide anything from Hua Yunpeng, and told him about his plan to get the attention of the Black Organization of Tianji Tower. Now that it's a purple organization, it's indeed necessary to break through the Black Organization. Tianji Tower is a force that has 9 regions and 18 prefectures. If our Medicine Valley has someone in it, it'll be good for the Medicine Valley. However, I still think that you don't have to destroy your foundation just because you're in a hurry. Hua Yunpeng still insisted on his opinion. Okay, I'll listen to you. Knight Sorrow nodded. Hua Yunpeng wouldn't harm him. Since he said so, it made sense. Your cultivation speed and experience are obvious. They're blind if they don't want you. Hua Yunpeng said. Disciple will keep Grand Elder's words in mind. Yi Shang bowed and said. After bidding farewell to Hua Yunpeng, Knight Sorrow took Silver Fox and Tianyu to Tianji Tower in Danding City. He exchanged a beast-taming crystal with Enforcer Dong, and then went to Danding Cliff in the Medicine Valley. You're here again. Take it easy, Lu Qinyun said. Just then, a person walked out of the thatched hut in Danding Cliff. Knight Sorrow recognized this person. He was Elder Su, who was originally guarding this place. At this time, Elder Su's aura had changed. The aura of a sunset was gone. Instead, it was a violent aura. Thank you, Elder Su said to Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow returned the gesture. He knew that Elder Su had successfully entered the 5th rank and had a long lifespan. Then, he let Tianyu and Silver Fox enter the beast-taming crystal. Knight Sorrow began to climb Danding Cliff. When Knight Sorrow reached the 4,800-meter platform, he didn't continue climbing and began to cultivate. He continued to climb. Knight Sorrow felt that it was very difficult. The 5,000-meter platform wasn't suitable for cultivation because there was no pressure. He still had to come down a little. Watching Knight Sorrow cultivate, Elder Su and Lu Qinyun looked at each other. This guy still treats cultivation as food. The Medicine Valley has a successor, Elder Su said. Knight Sorrow didn't know about their evaluation of him. He was cultivating on the platform at 4,800 meters. If it was in the past, Knight Sorrow would have caused a stir among the other disciples who came to cultivate. But now, it was no longer the case. Everyone knew that there was a special person like Knight Sorrow in the Medicine Valley. Knight Sorrow was the same as before. He would cultivate his Zhanqi and the Myriad Daos Tome for a while, and then he would cultivate his spear arts and fist arts for a while. He would consume his energy and then continue cultivating. When he was thirsty or hungry, he would eat fasting pills and drink some wine. On the 4th day of Knight Sorrow's cultivation, someone came to the platform he was on. Looking at the person, Knight Sorrow was stunned for a moment. Then he cupped his hands and said, Knight Sorrow greets Senior Sister Lin. It was a woman. She was Lin Jingyi, a disciple of Yi Xiling, the Crepe Myrtle Peak Master. She was also the woman who didn't have a good impression of Knight Sorrow. I heard that you reached the 5,000-meter platform. Why are you lying here now? Lin Jingyi looked at Knight Sorrow calmly. It was hard to tell whether she was happy or angry. This place is already very suitable for me. There's nothing good up there, Knight Sorrow answered. She narrowed her eyes and looked at Knight Sorrow for a while. I don't understand. Why don't you like me? Senior Sister Lin, what are you talking about? I just don't want to leave Taishan Peak. It has nothing to do with anything else, Knight Sorrow said with a bitter smile. But everyone in Medicine Valley knows that Knight Sorrow doesn't like women from Crepe Myrtle. This is a fact, Lin Jingyi said. Then Senior Sister Lin, what do you think I should do? Should I go to Crepe Myrtle one day and apologize? Knight Sorrow thought for a while and sighed. Let me think about it. Anyway, this matter isn't over so easily. I'm the only one who doesn't like you. Why don't you like me? Lin Jingyi snorted coldly. True Qi burst out of her body and she floated up. She only grabbed with her hands and kicked with her legs. Knight Sorrow looked up and was stunned. Because the weather was hot, Lin Jingyi was wearing a skirt. Knight Sorrow could see her white legs very clearly. Unfortunately, Lin Jingyi turned her head and looked down. The two of them looked at each other from top to bottom. Then Lin Jingyi realized something was wrong. She pressed her skirt with one hand and landed on the platform 4,900 meters above. Knight Sorrow, you're a pervert. You and I can't exist under the same sky. Knight Sorrow had the urge to vomit blood. What the hell is going on? I didn't mean it, but in fact, I did have a pervert's behavior. Unable to talk back, Knight Sorrow could only continue to meditate and ignore Lin Jingyi's words. Explain? How can I explain this kind of thing clearly? Lin Jingyi's roar surprised the disciples who were cultivating at Danding Cliff. They didn't know what was going on. Some time ago, There was a crazy rumor that Night Sorrow didn't like the girl from Crepe Myrtle. But now it wasn't the case. Lin Jingyi and Night Sorrow were only 100 meters apart. Something must have happened. Otherwise, Lin Jingyi could have chosen to scold Night Sorrow when she wasn't at his height. Or she could have scolded Night Sorrow when they were at the same height. What's going on now? The most important thing was what Lin Jingyi said. She said that Night Sorrow was a pervert. If they were enemies, if they were rivals, she wouldn't have scolded him like that. It was like flirting. You little bastard, you little pervert. Why aren't you talking? Seeing that Night Sorrow didn't explain, Lin Jingyi was even angrier. She was sure that Night Sorrow had seen something he shouldn't have. She didn't know how to explain, so she didn't speak. Night Sorrow pretended that he didn't hear anything. He just didn't reply. Night Sorrow didn't reply. She calmed down. Then she realized that her words were inappropriate. The disciples from the other platforms were looking over. She spat at Night Sorrow. Lin Jingyi had no choice but to go up. Ahem. Yi Shang, this brat, is quite popular with women, Elder Su said with a smile. He became famous at a young age. How can he not attract women? Little bastard, little pervert? Haha, interesting. I wonder how Valley Master would feel if he knew. Lu Chenyun said with a smile. If Xiling knew, it would be interesting. Elder Su nodded. The Xiling he was talking about was Crepe Myrtle's peak master, Yi Xiling. At a height of 5,700 meters, there were people from Tai Xian Peak, Mo Chen and Chu Lingfei. They had come together to practice cultivation. They didn't know what had happened, but they knew that Yi Shang had provoked Lin Jingyi from Crepe Myrtle Peak. Just as the two were looking at each other, Lin Jingyi arrived at a platform not far from them. Senior Sister Lin, what's going on? Why are you so angry? Mo Chen greeted. Go back and ask your pervert junior brother what he did. Lin Jingyi said angrily. Chapter 197. If you have time, why don't you ask your precious junior brother what he did? Lin Jingyi yelled angrily. Mo Chen sighed. Senior Sister Lin, let's be frank. It was your idea to ask Night Sorrow to go to Crepe Myrtle. It was also your idea to ask him to have 10 wives. Night Sorrow didn't want to leave Taishan Peak because he looked down on you? Isn't that a bit far-fetched? In that case, don't you think that my master thinks highly of him by offering such a condition? Who else in the Medicine Valley is qualified to do so? He didn't appreciate it. If that's not looking down on him, then what is it? My master asked me to receive him, but how did he treat me? Lin Jingyi said angrily. From your point of view, he was wronged. But from my junior brother's point of view, he didn't do anything wrong. Isn't that right? Mo Chen was also a bit conflicted. It wasn't easy to reason this out. Women cared about face. Night Sorrow didn't want to go to Crepe Myrtle, which was a slap to Lin Jingyi's face. Lin Jingyi was known as the youngest and most outstanding second-generation disciple of Crepe Myrtle. Let's not talk about this. He was just being a hooligan. If you don't believe me, you can ask him yourself. Anyway, this isn't over. Lin Jingyi continued to rush up, but she used her true qi to push Luo-kun up. What should we do? Mo Chen looked at Chu Lingfei. There might be something we don't know. Let's go and ask. Chu Lingfei didn't have any good ideas. She could only ask Night Sorrow. When the two arrived at the platform where Night Sorrow was, they directly asked. Night Sorrow didn't know how to answer. He could only lower his head and remain silent. 13, just say it. What's the matter? Senior brothers and senior sisters will make the decision for you. Seeing that Yi Shang wasn't speaking, Mo Chen was a bit anxious. She's right. I'm a hooligan. Night Sorrow said angrily. You're a hooligan? Crepe Myrtle Peak offered 10 wives and you rejected them all. Who would believe that you're a rogue? What's going on? Mo Chen asked with a frown. Senior apprentice Sister Lin was climbing up from here. I looked up and saw that she was wearing a skirt. Yi Shan hesitantly recounted what had just happened. Mo Chen didn't know what to say. He didn't know what to say. Finally, he looked at Chu Lingfei. Lingfei, let's continue to cultivate. And don't waste your merit points. 11th senior brother. Didn't you say you'd help me? Seeing Mo Chen and Chu Lingfei fly up hand in hand, Yishan grew anxious. As for the others, it's useless even if you look for eldest senior brother. Mo Chen left Yishang with his back and a few words. When they returned to the original platform, Mo Chen and Chu Lingfei looked at each other and smiled. They knew that this wasn't a big deal. Lin Jingyi wouldn't make a big deal out of it. She was a person who cared a lot about her reputation. If she couldn't accept this, she would at most kick Night Sorrow a couple of times. If it's possible, let Master propose marriage for 13. Senior sister Lin is only a few years older than 13. In the world of cultivation, a few years is nothing. Both of them have high aptitudes. It won't be a problem for them to reach the 5th level in the future. In the hundreds of years of life, supporting each other is the most important thing. Chu Lingfei said. What Chu Lingfei said was the truth. Only ordinary people cared about age when they got married. Cultivators cared about how far they could go together. A void inquiry stage cultivator would certainly not marry a essence gathering realm cultivator. The difference in lifespan between the two was too big. That's impossible. Mo Chen shook his head. Why is it impossible? Chu Lingfei asked, puzzled. When she arrived at the Dragon Spring courtyard, Sikong Chuyu had already left. Therefore, she did not know who Sikong Chuyu was. Mo Chen told her about the relationship between Sikong Chuyu and Night Sorrow. You're saying that 13 like Sikong Chuyu? Chu Lingfei asked. Mo Chen shook his head. I don't know. 13 might not know either. But with Sikong Chuyu's existence, it's hard for him to accept other women. Chu Lingfei shook her head. She was also helpless. No one could help Night Sorrow with this matter. After cultivating for half a month at Pill Cauldron Cliff, Night Sorrow's cultivation base had reached the peak of the 8th level of Essence Gathering Realm. His myriad Dao scripture had also reached the peak of the 6th level of Muscle Strengthening Realm. Night Sorrow did not plan to stay at the 4,800-meter platform. He directly rushed to the 4,900-meter platform. Then, he recovered to his best state and charged towards the 5,000-meter platform. Last time, Night Sorrow originally could not reach the 5,000-meter platform. It was only because he was stimulated by Lin Tianjue that he managed to do so. This time, Night Sorrow's cultivation base and myriad Dao scripture had improved by quite a lot. After charging with all his strength, Night Sorrow rushed to the 5,000-meter platform. On the 5,000-meter platform, he cultivated until the sky turned dark. After glancing around and making sure that there was no one cultivating and that there was no one climbing below, Night Sorrow decided to enter seclusion to break through. Pill Cauldron Cliff was the best place to cultivate in the Medicine Valley. Although it was not helpful for advancing, it was indeed the best place to improve and stabilize one's cultivation base. This was also the reason why Night Sorrow wanted to break through here. After breaking through, it would be a good place to stabilize one's cultivation base. When Night Sorrow was breaking through, Mo Chen, Chu Lingfei, Gong Xian and the others were standing in front of the Spirit Gathering Formation at Taixian Peak. The third-generation disciples had been in there for half a month. It was after they went in that Mo Chen and Chu Lingfei came to Pill Cauldron Cliff to cultivate for a few days. Since they had nothing to do, Mo Chen told them about Lin Jingyi's dissatisfaction with Night Sorrow and the reason why. What is this about? Aoi was a little helpless. Not to mention other things, Night Sorrow was indeed in the wrong for seeing something he should not have seen. No matter where he went, he could not explain it. Yang Lei snorted and said, "It's nothing. She can do whatever she wants. She was the one who didn't dress properly. Who can she blame? 13 didn't want to see it." "Ninth junior sister, you are being unreasonable," Huanan said with a smile. "Reasonable? How is this unreasonable? It was Crepe Myrtle who was unreasonable first, okay? If you don't join them, you are looking down on them? Then if they shout, all the disciples of the Medicine Valley will leave their original peaks and go to them. If you don't go, you are not giving them face? Does everyone have to go?" Yang Lei glanced at Huanan and said, "Ninth junior sister's words are not very pleasant to hear, but they are reasonable. Let's not interfere in this matter for now. Let them do what they want. It will be fine as long as we don't force 13 to do anything," Gong Xian said. "Eldest senior brother, we can't interfere now. Some gossipy disciples talk about this every day. I think Crepe Myrtle will not tolerate it. Even if they don't deal with 13 halfway, I think Master Yi and Senior Sister Tang Qianqian will have other tricks up their sleeves, Emochin said. Chapter 198. In the span of 2 nights, Knight Sorrow raised his cultivation level to the 9th level of Element Gathering tier and the 6th level of Muscle Strengthening tier. At the same time, he also stabilized his cultivation level. After cultivating to this level, Knight Sorrow did not intend to continue staying at Danding Cliff. Hua Yunpeng had reminded him that it wasn't appropriate for him to cultivate too quickly. With a wave of his arm, he summoned Tianyu. Knight Sorrow's body flashed and landed on Tianyu's back. Then, he flew directly toward Taishan Peak. This made the disciples of the Medicine Valley at the foot of Danding Cliff very envious. Those who had flying beasts were so free and easy. They could come and go by flying. Other than that, the others couldn't fly as they pleased like Knight Sorrow. When they came, they had to register their identity plates and merit points. The elders guarding Danding Cliff would remind them how much merit points they had and how long they could stay. If one dared to lie down on Danding Cliff without any merit points, the consequences would be severe. When they left, they would have to settle the score. There was no need for Knight Sorrow. He did not need contribution points to cultivate at Danding Cliff, nor did he need to register or settle accounts. Looking at Knight Sorrow riding Tianyu away, the disciples of the Medicine Valley were envious. However, there were also some who were angry. This was the disciple of Crepe Myrtle. Tang Qianqian, Lin Jingyi and Lan Yu were at the bottom of Danding Cliff. Tang Qianqian and Lin Jingyi had come to settle the score with Knight Sorrow, while Lan Yu had come to watch the show. However, Knight Sorrow had ridden Tianyu to escape, not giving them a chance. Chase him. Lan Yu was not afraid of the chaos, so she immediately urged her master and martial uncle. XV$A is the only 0Q1B original 7 version carrot, and the others are all pirated carrot. His demonic beast is fast. Your master and your martial uncle's mounts are as fast as it. How can we catch up to Taishan Peak? Tang Qianqian looked at Lan Yu angrily. Are we just going to let him run away? Lan Yu asked. Junior sister, what do you think? This matter is actually a matter of wrangling. No one can say who is right or wrong. Even if we stop him, there is no good way to solve it. If you feel that you are at a disadvantage, then let Master go to the Valley Master and ask him to come to Crepe Myrtle to propose marriage. Tang Qianqian said with a smile. No, I want to take care of her. Hearing Tang Qianqian's words, Lin Jingyi blushed and hurriedly objected. That's true. You don't even like a little brat. Then I'll go back first. But Jingyi, let me remind you. Even if you catch him, you can't go too far. Otherwise, the consequences will be very serious. If you really make Taishan Peak angry and have a conflict with Crepe Myrtle, neither you nor I can bear the responsibility. Tang Qianqian reminded Lin Jingyi before she left. To be able to manage Crepe Myrtle, Tang Qianqian wasn't a brainless person. She could deal with Knight Sorrow by doing something harmless. But if she went too far, then it would be a big problem. How could she expect Taishan Peak to tolerate it? Gong Xian, Yang Lei, and Hua Nan were all bad-tempered. If she went too far, Taishan Peak would definitely retaliate. Martial uncle, what do you think we should do? If we continue to cause trouble, it will become a big problem. Lan Yu said with a smile. Are you gloating? Lin Jingyi turned around and glared at Lan Yu. After returning to Taishan Peak's bamboo grove, they didn't see anyone. After asking around, Knight Sorrow also went to the place where the Spirit Gathering Formation was located. 13 is here. 9th level of Element Gathering Formation. Very good. Yang Lei went to Knight Sorrow's side and patted Knight Sorrow's shoulder. She put her arm around Knight Sorrow's shoulder to make herself more comfortable. There's nothing to say about this speed. There's no precedent like this in the Medicine Valley. However, 13, your 9th senior sister is so close to you. If your 9th senior sister's husband finds out in the future, it'll be easy for him to destroy you, Shi Tianlin said with a smile. Now, half of Yang Lei's body was supporting Knight Sorrow's shoulder. Dare? If anyone dares to bully 13, I will not let them go. 8th senior brother, you are picking a fight. Yang Lei glared at Shi Tianlin with her beautiful eyes. 13, the last level of every level is a crucial stage, especially from element gathering formation to core formation. You have to go through it steadily. Gong Xian reminded Night Sorrow. He was the eldest senior brother and had the responsibility to teach Night Sorrow. Thank you for your reminder, eldest senior brother. I will pay attention. When I reach the peak of 9th level of element gathering formation, I will go to Danding Cliff to consolidate my cultivation. I will not easily touch the core formation stage. Night Sorrow nodded. Also, when this batch of disciples comes out, we will arrange for them to return home. You should also go back to your hometown. After all, you have been out for more than a year, Gong Xian said. Will 6th senior sister and 9th senior sister still come with me? Night Sorrow asked. Okay, but we have to arrange for the disciples first. It will be better to give some to the other senior brothers and junior brothers. It will be easier for us, Aoi said after thinking for a while. During the disciple recruitment ceremony a few days ago, Taishan Peak accepted a few hundred people. Originally, it was divided among Wu Qi, Nan Nan, and the others. However, Gong Xian asked for half of it back and gave it to the other second-generation disciples of Taishan Peak. However, it was inappropriate for Yu Yongyu's disciple not to give it to the other second-generation disciples. Yang Lei's disciples were also taken away when they returned to Taishan Peak. Before the apprenticeship ceremony, it was normal for disciples to be swapped. How about this, senior brothers and junior brothers? You guys take care of the other directions. 9th junior sister and I will take the route between Red Flame City and South Sky City, Aoi said. That's fine. We have few inner disciples here. Let Su Zhonglin help arrange more. Gong Xian nodded. It was easier for the newcomers of other peaks to return home. There were many outer disciples, and outer disciples and law enforcement disciples were enough to accompany them. However, Taishan Peak was different. There were no outer disciples other than the second-generation disciples. Night Sorrow did not continue to stay there. He planned to leave since the spirit gathering formation would not be completed for half a month. 13. It's troublesome for you to feed Tianyu every day. Senior sister has refined a beast pill. You can feed Tianyu with it. Aoi took out a bottle of pills and handed it to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded and took it. He knew about the beast pill. It was a level 3 pill for tamed beasts. It could provide the tamed beasts with energy to survive and grow. Night Sorrow also wanted to refine it, but he did not have the ability to do so at the moment. Go back to the Longquan courtyard. Don't run around. Sometimes, you are not the one looking for trouble, but the one looking for trouble. Besides, I heard that the Qing Shui sect has learned that you cut off one of their young master's arms. They came to the sect to ask for him some time ago, Gong Xian said. They wanted to rob 13. How dare they come to us after suffering a loss? Yang Lei was a little angry. The Qing Shui sect did not think so much. They may think that 13 is just an ordinary disciple. They are feeling superior now because the Golden Flame sect has been trying to win them over. They think they are qualified to challenge our Medicine Valley. Gong Xian said with light flashing in his eyes. The Qing Shui sect did not understand the situation and jumped around randomly, which had aroused Gong Xian's anger. What did Master say? Huanan asked. Chapter 199. The Qing Shui sect is getting out of hand. We should take some time to deal with them, said Huanan. It's my fault again. Night Sorrow was a little depressed. The Golden Flame sect declared war on the Medicine Valley when he cut off one of Zhongping's arms. Now that he cut off one of Miao Shaojuan's arms, they also came to him. It's not your fault. If someone bullies you, you should fight back, said Wu Qi while looking at Night Sorrow. Don't cut off the arms next time. Just cut off the heads. They are all bastards. If we don't teach them a lesson, they will forget their names, said Aoi. But it's all my fault, said Night Sorrow guiltily. Gong Xian then explained to Night Sorrow that the Medicine Valley would take action against the Qing Shui sect no matter what happened. The Qing Shui sect and the Golden Flame sect had bad intentions. The Medicine Valley would not allow the Qing Shui sect to join forces with the Golden Flame sect to overthrow the Medicine Valley's ruling position in this area. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow left the Taishan Peak with Tianyu and headed for the Longquan Villa. It was dark when he returned to the Longquan Villa. Night Sorrow was surprised when he did not see Hua Yunpeng when he went to the dining room for dinner. He remembered that Hua Yunpeng used to come to the dining room for dinner on time. "Hi Luo. Didn't you see the Grand Elder?" Knight Sorrow asked while eating. "I haven't seen him for 2 days. But when I went to clean the room, I found his robe was still there." "He shouldn't have left," said Hai Luo. "Okay." Knight Sorrow nodded and continued eating. "Young master, your robe is really beautiful," said Hai Luo while looking at Knight Sorrow. "Really? I think it's very comfortable." Knight Sorrow smiled and released the silver fox cub at the same time. Knight Sorrow could not release it when they were outside, but he could do it when they were back in the Longquan villa. Silver Fox, who was released, jumped excitedly onto Knight Sorrow's shoulder. It wasn't small anymore. It was more than 3 feet long, but its weight was nothing. Knight Sorrow let it continue to lie on his shoulder. It didn't affect his eating. At night, he cultivated his genuine qi and the myriad Tao tome. During the day, he cultivated his spear art and fist art. During the Night Sorrow, he played with Tianyu and Silver Fox. His days were rather leisurely. On this day, Night Sorrow was cultivating the Annihilation fist art when he suddenly sensed something was wrong. He noticed that the energy in and around the monastery had become berserk. Even the sky was churning with energy that was rushing towards the celestial lake. This situation made Night Sorrow extremely shocked. He immediately dashed towards the celestial lake. Night Sorrow didn't know what was going on when he arrived near Skywater Lake. He could only feel the energy gathering towards a certain area of Skywater Lake. Just as Night Sorrow was about to continue searching for the source of the energy stabilized. The celestial lake returned to its calm state, and the surroundings of the Longquan villa were once again sunny. This made Night Sorrow very puzzled. However, he didn't think too much about it and returned to the martial arts field to continue cultivating. When it was time for dinner, Hua Yunpeng appeared. Seeing that Hua Yunpeng had returned, Night Sorrow stood up and greeted him. Asterisk Yonggi Jiu Free P asterisk, look at little $Z says asterisk. Not bad, you're at the peak of the elemental gathering realm. You can cultivate while slowly stabilizing your cultivation, Hua Yunpeng said as he sat opposite Night Sorrow. Grand Elder Hua, you seem to have changed. Night Sorrow looked at Hua Yunpeng and said. Your senses are very accurate. I felt something from your body, so I completed a breakthrough, Hua Yunpeng said with a smile. Congratulations, Grand Elder. Night Sorrow stood up and bowed to Hua Yunpeng. Night Sorrow was extremely shocked. He knew that Hua Yunpeng had reached the peak of the 5th rank long ago. If Hua Yunpeng said that he had broken through, then he must have entered the 6th rank of Venerable Realm. Actually, I should thank you. First of all, you found the Holy Cauldron scripture. Secondly, I also felt something from you, so I naturally crossed the bottleneck. Hua Yunpeng helped Night Sorrow up and said. Congratulations, Grand Elder. Aoi and Yang Lei also came at this time. They were very happy to hear Hua Yunpeng's words. You're here. Sit down and have a few drinks with me, Hua Yunpeng said. He was very happy that he had crossed the bottleneck for many years. 6th Senior Sister, we don't have to worry about the Golden Flame sect making trouble now that we're at war with the Green Water sect, Yang Lei said. What's going on? Hua Yunpeng asked with a frown. Then Yang Lei told him about the recent movements of the Medicine Valley and the Golden Flame sect. There's no need to start a war. It's a big deal that the Grand Elder has succeeded in his breakthrough. As long as we announce it and hold a celebration in the Medicine Valley, the Green Water sect will naturally behave, Aoi said. 6th Senior Sister, the Grand Elder has just advanced. If we announce it, won't it be troublesome if the veteran Venerable Realm of the Golden Flame sect comes to fight? They're good at eliminating hidden dangers in advance. Yang Lei was a little worried that the Golden Flame sect would attack Hua Yunpeng who had just advanced. Don't be afraid. Although I've just advanced, they can't kill me easily. After entering the Venerable Realm, even if the 8-Dragon Cauldron doesn't approve of me, I can still activate part of its power. If the Golden Flame sect wants to fight, let them come, Hua Yunpeng said with confidence in his eyes. That's great. Our Medicine Valley finally has the ability to intimidate others. In the future, 13, you don't have to be restrained anymore. If anyone dares to provoke you, just kill them, Yang Lei said happily. Needless to say, this conflict has something to do with you, right? Hua Yunpeng looked at Night Sorrow with a smile and asked. Night Sorrow was a little helpless. He could only say that he had chopped off Miao Xiaojuan's arm. It's fine. If you have anything to do in the future, just do it. I'll make the decision for you, Hua Yunpeng said to Night Sorrow. After drinking some wine, Hua Yunpeng left. His advancement was not only his own business, but also a big deal for the Medicine Valley. Announcing it to the world might bring him death, but he wasn't afraid. The Medicine Valley needed him to stand up for it. That's great. The Medicine Valley finally doesn't have to suffer anymore, Yang Lei said excitedly. Then Yang Lei and Aoi said that they were here to bring their disciples back home. However, this time, they didn't do it themselves. They directly asked the Taishan Peak's outer court manager to handle it. In addition, they also asked the Yunhai Peak's forces in the secular world to escort them. This time, not many disciples of the Yunhai Peak returned home, so the outer court disciples of the Yunhai Peak in Danding City had nothing to do. The next day, when Night Sorrow, Aoi, and Yang Lei arrived in Danding City, they received the news from the Medicine Valley. The Medicine Valley's great elder had entered the Venerable Realm, and the celebration would be held in a month. The news spread in all directions. Everyone knew that this was the Medicine Valley's way of showing off their strength. This was the Venerable Realm's deterrence. They also knew that this was a storm. Chapter 200. 6th Senior Sister, 9th Senior Sister. Will the Golden Flame sect go to extremes and fight Grand Elder Hua to the death? Night Sorrow asked worriedly. That shouldn't be the case. Such an outcome wouldn't benefit anyone. First of all, Grand Elder Hua can activate the 8-Dragon Cauldron in the Medicine Valley. Even a mid-6th Order Venerable might not be able to defeat him. If the Venerable of the Golden Flame sect dies, or even if he doesn't die, he will be injured. The Southern Dipper sect and Free and Unfettered sect will take the opportunity to destroy him and raise the Golden Flame sect to the ground. You said you're the leader of the Golden Flame sect. Will you take such a risk? Aoi said with a smile. Then I'm relieved. Night Sorrow's heart felt a little more at ease. The most likely option is to negotiate. As for the specifics, that will depend on Master and Grand Elder. Yang Lei said to Night Sorrow. I understand. We value the foundation of the Medicine Valley. Similarly, the Golden Flame sect values their foundation. A fight to the death will not benefit anyone. Night Sorrow understood the key point. The three of them sat on the flying beast and flew towards Southern Sky City. The three of them were not in a hurry. They rested at night and flew during the day. After arriving at Southern Sky City, Night Sorrow's group first went to visit Guanye's family before arriving at Bamboo Garden Village. Or rather, Bamboo Garden Town. After arriving at Bamboo Garden Town, Yishang was stunned. The changes in just 1 year had turned this place upside down. Bamboo Garden Town had expanded dozens of times. It was not the size they had originally planned. In the center of the town were buildings with green bricks and red tiles. The roads were paved with green stones. There were chambers of commerce, medicine shops, taverns, and inns. Riding on the flying beast, Night Sorrow landed in the center of the town. He didn't know how to get home. Brother Night Sorrow. Big brother Yishang is back. When he saw Yishang and the others arrive, a child stepped forward and glanced at Yishang before shouting loudly. Following the child's shout, people came out from the taverns, medicine shops, and clothing shops. Night Sorrow, it's really you. A man wearing an embroidered robe came out of the tavern and gave Night Sorrow a bear hug. This was none other than Uncle Nyo. Uncle, what are you doing? Looking at Uncle Nyo, who was wearing a silk robe, Night Sorrow couldn't accept it. Look at the 2V version of the chapter O. For tea, I'm the boss of this pub. People say that a boss should look like a boss. Your aunt asked Aunt Lin to make me a robe like this, Uncle Nyo said embarrassedly as he tidied up his robe. After that, many people came over. They were all the original villagers of Bamboo Garden Village. They all had their own ways of making a living. For example, Auntie Lin opened a clothing store. Young Master. The girls bowed to Night Sorrow. Are you all okay? Night Sorrow recognized them. They were the women he had rescued. Night Sorrow didn't know their names. We're fine. We opened this medicine shop together. The business is pretty good, one of the girls said. Uncle Nyo, I'm going home. Based on his memory, he determined the location of Father Gu's house. Okay. We'll look for you at Father Gu's house later, Uncle Nyo said to Night Sorrow. Just as Yi Shang was about to leave, he stopped and turned his head to look at an inn. A woman wearing a bamboo hat was standing at the entrance of the inn. Looking at the girl, Night Sorrow took a step forward and stopped. He lowered his head and thought for a moment before turning to leave. Seeing Night Sorrow turn around, the girl returned to the inn. At the window seat on the second floor of the inn, the girl took off her bamboo hat and watched Night Sorrow leave. This was none other than Sikong Chuyu, whom Night Sorrow hadn't seen for a few months. Seeing Night Sorrow's figure, Sikong Chuyu smiled. She knew that Night Sorrow recognized her. At the same time, she also understood why Night Sorrow didn't come. He didn't want others to know. 13. You found something, right? Yonglei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I'll tell you later, senior sister, Night Sorrow said as he looked at the passers-by on the street. Bamboo Garden Village had changed a lot. It could be said that it was completely different from before. The only place that hadn't changed was the mayor's house. It was still the same 3 shabby bamboo houses. The land behind the bamboo houses wasn't occupied either. The 2 tombs were still there. There were no weeds on them. It was clear that someone often took care of them. Dad. When Night Sorrow arrived at the bamboo house, he saw Father Gu smoking in the courtyard. Night Sorrow, you're back? Old Man Gu's dim eyes lit up when he saw Yi Shang. Then, he stood up and his body trembled slightly. I'm back. Dad, how have you been this year? Night Sorrow asked. Good. Very good. You've become much stronger. It was right to let you go out. Everyone take a seat, Father Gu said to Aoi and Yonglei. Dad, why didn't you repair this house? Didn't I ask them to bring you gold notes? Didn't they bring you gold notes? Night Sorrow's eyes emitted a cold light. Back then, when the women he had rescued wanted to come to Bamboo Garden Town, Yi Shang had given them gold notes. Some were for them to start a new life, but some were for Father Gu. Now that Father Gu was still living in this shabby bamboo house, he was somewhat angry. Child, what nonsense are you thinking about? They gave me the gold notes. I had no use for them, so I partnered with them to open a medicine shop. I don't want to repair this house. I'm worried that you won't be able to find your way home, Father Gu said softly. After hearing this, Yi Shang turned his head away and wiped the corner of his eyes. He had never thought that this would be the reason. Ever since Night Sorrow was sensible, he had lived with Father Gu. Therefore, Father Gu was his family. When he left Bamboo Garden Village, he wanted the villagers and Father Gu to live a life without fear. He hoped that Bamboo Garden Village could receive the protection of Medicine Valley. Now that he had achieved his goal, Father Gu was still living here because of him. He felt very bitter. Dad, you're back. I'm very happy that you're back. Come, here's the wine that Uncle Nyo sent over a few days ago. In the morning, a girl I don't know brought me some cooked food. Let's drink some. The 2 of you come over too. You're Night Sorrow's senior sisters. We're all family. Father Gu returned to his room and took out a wine jar. He took out a few packets of roasted chicken and cooked food wrapped in oil paper. Dad, I've grown up and embarked on the path of cultivation. Now, you need to take care of yourself, Night Sorrow said after opening the wine jar. Okay, don't worry, Father Gu said with a smile. While Night Sorrow was drinking, the original villagers of Bamboo Garden Village came. Night Sorrow kept adding chairs and stools. Uncle Nyo, I might not be able to stay for a few days. This place needs to be renovated, Night Sorrow said to Uncle Nyo. No, this place can't be demolished. Father Gu rejected directly. He had no intention of negotiating. Dad, the entire Bamboo Garden Village has been changed. This is the only place left, Uncle Nyo said with a smile. Chapter 201. Then let's repair it the way it was before. Uncle Nyo was also helpless. It was very difficult to change old Gu's mind. After eating some food, Night Sorrow left the bamboo house and walked towards the town. When he reached the inn, Night Sorrow took a deep breath and walked in. This was an inn run by a foreigner. Boss, I'm here to look for someone, Night Sorrow said to the boss. What's her name? The boss looked at Night Sorrow and asked. A single woman. Night Sorrow didn't say Sikong Chuyu's name because he didn't want Sikong Chuyu's identity to be exposed. I'm sorry. Although we are an inn in a small town, we have rules. If you can't say your name, please don't disturb our guests, the boss said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow rubbed his face and didn't know what to say. This boss was really principled. She's my friend. Just as Night Sorrow was in a dilemma, Sikong Chuyu, who was wearing a bamboo hat, appeared and shouted at the boss. Then, Sikong Chuyu waved at Night Sorrow and led Night Sorrow to her room on the second floor. She was staying in the best room in the inn. It had a bedroom and a living room. Sikong, why are you still in the Medicine Valley? Night Sorrow asked anxiously after entering the room. I walked aimlessly and came here. I didn't go to Danding City and came here directly. No one will notice, Sikong Chuyu said. Safety is the most important thing. How have you been? Night Sorrow looked at Sikong Chuyu and asked. This time, we didn't use Tianji Tower's channel to come to the eastern Xian region. Our safety isn't a problem, and we can travel around freely. Sikong Chuyu poured a cup of tea for Night Sorrow and said, follow me to the Medicine Valley and stay at Taishan Peak. Our Medicine Valley also has a 6th Order Venerable. Your family and Tianji Tower shouldn't be able to reach into the Medicine Valley, Night Sorrow said. I don't know why I'm here again. How have you been? Sikong Chuyu sighed and asked Night Sorrow. I'm fine. I'm just worried about you, Night Sorrow said in a low voice. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Sikong Chuyu's face turned red. He lowered his head and didn't say anything. My cultivation is too low to help you solve the problem, but I'll try my best. After Night Sorrow finished speaking, his mood was completely different from before. He was full of fighting spirit. Well, don't pressure yourself too much. You've already worked very hard. Sikong Chuyu said to Night Sorrow. How long do you plan to stay in Juyuan village? Sikong Chuyu looked at Night Sorrow and asked. What about you? Night Sorrow asked. I came here because I knew you would come. So when you leave, I'll leave too. Sikong Chuyu said. You came here to wait for me? Night Sorrow's heart trembled. Why are you asking so many questions? Sikong Chuyu glared at Night Sorrow and didn't answer Night Sorrow's question. I won't ask. How about this? When we go back, I'll take you to the bamboo forest mountain where I used to cultivate. Although the conditions there aren't as good, it's quiet. Night Sorrow had a plan. What are you doing? Are you planning to hide me? Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. Yes, I'm planning to hide you. Night Sorrow nodded seriously. And then? Sikong Chuyu asked with a smile. Then, I'll work hard to cultivate. When I'm strong enough, I'll go to the Qingtian domain and find those people who bullied you. What's that guy's name again? Ji Yu Hao, I still remember. Yi Shang didn't even think before he spoke his mind. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Sikong Chuyu looked at Night Sorrow and asked, And then? And then? Night Sorrow repeated Sikong Chuyu's words. He didn't know what to say. He didn't think too much. He just didn't want Sikong Chuyu to be wronged. All right, I won't make things difficult for you. You should go first and wait for me somewhere. I'll go find you later. Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. She could actually understand Night Sorrow's mentality. Night Sorrow's thoughts were very simple. He was thinking for her. Seeing that Sikong Chuyu agreed to his arrangement, Night Sorrow was happy and expressed it directly. I'm very happy to see you. Sikong Chuyu smiled but didn't say anything. She didn't need to express anything. It was enough that she could come here. After drinking tea for a while, Night Sorrow left. Before he left, he gave Sikong Chuyu the roll of top-grade silk that he had left behind. Sikong Chuyu liked the silk that felt good to the touch. After leaving the inn, Night Sorrow felt very happy. Sikong Chuyu was the thing he worried about the most. For Sikong Chuyu's safety, what he needed to do was to work hard and cultivate even harder. When they returned to Father Gu's place, the villagers had all left. Father Gu had also gone to rest. Aoi and Yang Lei were drinking tea in the yard. You saw her? Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Senior sister, you know? Night Sorrow looked at Yang Lei and asked. Of course, I'm familiar with her aura. Yang Lei smiled and said. 13. You have a successful tryst with your lover. Aoi also looked at Night Sorrow with a smile. Night Sorrow blushed and didn't know what to say. After that, Aoi and Yang Lei kept digging. Night Sorrow said something when he saw Sikong Chuyu. Night Sorrow didn't want to say anything, but Aoi and Yang Lei wouldn't let him go. He had no choice but to confess. You idiot. Then, why did she come all the way to your hometown? Yang Lei slapped the back of Night Sorrow's head. Ninth senior sister, why are you so angry? Night Sorrow rubbed his head and said, you can't blame your ninth senior sister for being angry. Sikong has many places to choose from, but she came here. You should treat her better. At least promise her something, Aoi said. Night Sorrow understood what Aoi meant, but he didn't dare. He was afraid that Sikong Chuyu would be angry if he was rude. The next day, Uncle Nyo brought people to repair the bamboo house. Papa Gu looked at them and didn't allow them to touch this and that. Night Sorrow's father didn't allow them to touch any of his toys and wooden horses when he was young. Original Q/chapter #I Uncle Nyo and the craftsman could only adapt to the original decorations in the courtyard and repair the house. Night Sorrow brought wine and food to burn incense for the two Yi family members whose names he didn't know. In the afternoon, Yi Shang once again went to the inn where Sikong Chuyu was staying. When he came, he also bought some food. In the inn's room, Night Sorrow saw Sikong Chuyu, who had just taken a shower. Why are you here again instead of spending more time with Papa Gu? Sikong Chuyu was delighted when he saw Night Sorrow. However, he still reprimanded Night Sorrow. Papa Gu drank some wine during lunch and then went to rest. He can't hold his liquor well, so he basically goes to sleep after drinking, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, I've thought about something. Won't the seniors in your sect object if I go to the Medicine Valley? I won't go and cause trouble for you, Sikong Chuyu said. Chapter 202. That's not appropriate. I can't implicate you, Sikong Chuyu said, shaking her head. Anyway, I won't let you run around alone anymore. Jiyu family forced you to do this. I'll remember this. Night Sorrow was a little annoyed. Sikong Chuyu sat down beside Night Sorrow and consoled Night Sorrow. Don't be angry. That's how the world works. Jiyu family is the #1 family in the Qingtian region. They have the strength to be so domineering mainly because the Sikong family is disappointing and willing to hug their thighs. However, whoever wants to hug them can do it. I won't. Night Sorrow nodded. Actually, I should thank them. If they didn't force me, I don't know when I would be able to see you again. Night Sorrow said. Sikong Chuyu smiled. He understood Night Sorrow's state of mind. After a sleepless night, Sikong Chuyu sorted out her emotions. She finally understood the problem that she hadn't thought about carefully. For example, she had wandered aimlessly this time and came to the eastern Xian region. It was because she felt that Night Sorrow was trustworthy and dependable. Although Night Sorrow was young, she was responsible. She felt at ease when she was by Night Sorrow's side. When there was a problem, Night Sorrow would definitely stay behind to block the front. His back wasn't tall, but it was definitely sturdy. Sikong also understood a little about Yi Shang's heart. Yi Shang cared about her. He truly cared and worried about her. He was different from the people she knew in the past. There were no other factors. He was straightforward and simple. She also knew that Night Sorrow wasn't good at expressing himself. He always used actions to express himself, just like when he faced the Purple Gold Beast King. Compared to Night Sorrow's actions, the words of those who had followed her in the past, including her family, were so pale and powerless. Sikong, you look good when you smile. You should smile more in the future, Night Sorrow said as he looked at Sikong Chuyu, who was smiling and thinking. Sikong Chuyu complained to Night Sorrow and said, Since when did you become a hooligan? Call me Chuyu from now on. There are too many people in my family who call me Sikong. Then I'll call you Chuyu from now on. Night Sorrow nodded seriously. At the same time, he took out the jade pendant and looked at it seriously. Do you have it with you? A blush appeared on Sikong Chuyu's face. That was the jade pendant that had never left her side since she was a child. Now that it had appeared in Night Sorrow's arms, she felt a little embarrassed. Yes, I've always had it with me. Since you're here, I'll return it to you, Night Sorrow said. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Sikong Chuyu had the urge to strangle Night Sorrow's neck. This person was too silly. You idiot. How can you take back something that you've already given away? After thinking for a moment, Night Sorrow took off the jade pendant that she had always worn around her neck and stuffed it into Sikong Chuyu's hands. This is the most important thing I have. I'm giving it to you. After Sikong Chuyu took it in her hands, she said, "This jade pendant obviously belongs to a man. It's not suitable for me to wear. Just treat it as a costume," Night Sorrow said with a smile. Sikong Chuyu nodded and hung Night Sorrow's jade pendant on her waist. Then, he helped Night Sorrow hang the hollow jade pendant. By the way, the last time I returned to the Qingtian region, I checked many ancient and existing books. Among the 9 regions and 18 prefectures, there are quite a few Yi clans. The most famous one is the Night Moon dynasty of the Taiqing region, Sikong Chuyu said. Sounds very domineering? Night Sorrow said with a smile. It's not just the name. 100 years ago, the Night Moon dynasty was the head of the 3 great dynasties of the Taiqing region. The Moon Emperor Yi Tian was one of the top experts of the Taiqing region, suppressing the other dynasties and forces. However, an unforeseen event happened 130 years ago, Sikong Chuyu said. Then, Sikong Chuyu told Night Sorrow about the Night Moon dynasty. Yub Zi, N. Plus Night Sorrow listened to it like a story. The Taiqing region was too far away from the eastern Xian region. It had almost nothing to do with him. Although the Night Moon dynasty hadn't reached the level of ruling the Taiqing region, it had always been the strongest force in the Taiqing region. All the other forces had to look up to it. The unforeseen event happened 100 years ago. The Night Moon dynasty's Moon Emperor Yi Tian disappeared. At first, the other forces didn't dare to act rashly. However, after not seeing Yi Tian appear for several decades, they all started to act. Their actions grew bigger and bigger until they entered a period of chaos. The other 2 dynasties joined forces with the other forces to encircle and annihilate the Night Moon dynasty. The Night Moon dynasty had 1,000 years of inheritance and was incomparably strong. After the other party made a move, they began to counterattack. Facing the encirclement and annihilation of the other forces, the Night Moon dynasty didn't fall into a disadvantageous position. The battle went on for several decades and both sides were in a deadlock. The deadlock was broken about 20 years ago. The other 2 dynasties successfully bribed an elder of the Night Moon dynasty who didn't share the same surname. This elder secretly brought the experts of the opposing forces into the Night Moon sky, which was the core of the Night Moon dynasty. Then, the elder ambushed the strongest person in the Night Moon dynasty at that time, the 3rd Prince Yilinghuan, who was known as the undefeatable king. At the same time, the experts of the opposing forces also ambushed the other experts of the Night Moon dynasty. In the end, several extremely powerful emperors of the Night Moon dynasty died in battle. The 3rd Prince Yilinghuan was heavily injured, but he still killed all the invaders. Then, he led the remaining forces into the Night Moon Sea. This battle was very tragic. More than 10 venerables were killed or injured. The Night Moon dynasty suffered heavy losses and withdrew from the power struggle of the Taiqing region. Too sinister. If we want to fight, we have to fight with courage. Ambushing and besieging is too despicable, Night Sorrow said hatefully. The weak are prey to the strong. This is the rule of survival. They can't afford to drag this out. The 2nd generation of the Night Moon dynasty's direct descendants reached the 6th level and were titled emperors. At that time, the Night Moon dynasty had 3 extremely powerful emperors. The 3rd generation of the Night Moon dynasty's titled prince, the 3rd Prince Yilinghuan, had unparalleled combat strength. If they didn't stop him, they were worried that Yilinghuan, with his huge potential, would become another Night Moon emperor in the future, Sikong Chuyu said. I don't know why, but I feel uncomfortable. It's as if I feel the same way. Night Sorrow sighed and said, It's really tragic. If Yilinghuan was given time, no one in the Taiqing region would be able to suppress him. He's the youngest venerable in the Taiqing region, and the only one who became a venerable under 100 years old. How would the major forces of the Taiqing region dare to let him grow? Sikong Chuyu said with a bitter smile. When she was reading the ancient books, she also felt an inexplicable sadness in her heart. So now, the Night Moon dynasty has been destroyed? Night Sorrow asked. He really didn't want the Night Moon dynasty to be destroyed by the long river of history. Chapter 203. Night Sorrow didn't speak for a long time. He couldn't express the feeling in his heart. Is this the end of the road for a hero? Night Sorrow's blood suddenly accelerated. He couldn't even suppress it. His Zhen Qi and the energy in his body began to riot. This made Night Sorrow unable to sit still. He stood up and tried to control it. Looking at Night Sorrow's hair flying and almost standing up, Sikong Chuyu was stunned. He didn't understand what was going on. However, seeing that Night Sorrow's energy was out of control, Sikong Chuyu made a move. He reached out and touched Night Sorrow's chest, trying to help Night Sorrow calm his Zhen Qi. But as soon as his finger fell on Night Sorrow's chest, it was bounced away. "Calm down, Night Sorrow, calm down," Sikong Chuyu said anxiously. Night Sorrow circulated his Zhen Qi and the energy of the myriad Dao Tome, slowly stabilizing his boiling blood. After taking a deep breath and wiping the sweat from his forehead, Night Sorrow sat down. "What happened to you just now?" Sikong Chuyu took out his handkerchief and handed it to Night Sorrow, and asked nervously. "I don't know. I just felt a little depressed and angry. Then my Zhen Qi and blood went out of control. The speed of circulation was several times faster than usual. If I was in a fight just now, my combat power would have increased a lot." Night Sorrow wiped his sweat with the handkerchief. He held it in his hand and didn't know whether to return it or not. If he returned it, it would be a little dirty. If he didn't return it, it would be inappropriate to keep a woman's handkerchief in his hand. "Do you have a potential bloodline talent?" Seeing that Night Sorrow was fine, Sikong Chuyu asked. "I don't have any bloodline talent," Night Sorrow said with a smile. "It's hard to say. In your situation just now, the intensity and speed of your Zhen Qi were no lower than the core condensation stage. If there are no drawbacks, this is the manifestation of your bloodline talent," Sikong Chuyu said very seriously. "Can you give me this handkerchief?" Night Sorrow looked at the sweat-stained handkerchief and said. Sikong Chuyu glared at Night Sorrow but did not say anything. How could he ask such a question? As long as there was something to it, he could just put it away. Seeing that Sikong Chuyu didn't say anything, Night Sorrow put it away. After chatting with Sikong Chuyu for a while, Night Sorrow left. After returning to Dad Gu's residence, Night Sorrow saw that the front and back of the bamboo house had changed. The layout of the bamboo house hadn't changed, but the bamboo had been replaced with new ones. The yard had also been paved with green bricks, but the toy wooden horses were still in their original positions. There were also red walls around the yard. The repair speed was fast, mainly because many people came. In addition to the craftsmen, there were also many people who helped. Not only the old villagers of Zhuyuan village, but some of the town's businessmen also came to help. It was finished in one afternoon. You went to have fun. Six's senior sister and I served tea and water here. Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow with dissatisfaction. Hee hee. Night Sorrow smiled awkwardly. Are you going to ignore me and Six's senior sister now that you have a new woman? Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. No, absolutely not. As long as Six's senior sister and Ninth senior sister need it, I will do anything. Night Sorrow quickly said. That's a good boy. If you cast me and Six's senior sister aside just because you have a woman, then you better be careful, humph. Yang Lei reached out and patted Yi Shang's shoulder as she snorted. 13. It's not suitable for us to see her. Let's talk about it when we go back. Aoi said. Six's senior sister, Ninth senior sister. I plan to bring Sikong to Bamboo Forest Peak, the place where I used to cultivate. Is that okay? Night Sorrow asked. That shouldn't be a problem, but you still have to say hello to Master and eldest senior brother. Aoi said. Night Sorrow nodded. At the same time, he also decided to leave tomorrow. The Medicine Valley was in troubled times, and it wasn't suitable for them to stay here for long. That night, Night Sorrow and Papa Gu talked a lot and only went to bed in the second half of the night. Night Sorrow originally wanted to help Papa Gu and wanted to ask Aoi to get some low-level elixirs. However, Aoi said that Papa Gu's dantian was shattered and he couldn't cultivate true qi anymore. His body was also aging and he couldn't absorb the energy of the blood essence elixir. This made Night Sorrow give up helplessly. In fact, Papa Gu could only live the life of an ordinary person. At dawn, Night Sorrow arrived at the inn and informed Sikong Chuyu that he was leaving. He also told Sikong Chuyu to wait for him at Grass Valley Town near the entrance of the Medicine Valley. Night Sorrow didn't dare to let Sikong Chuyu go to Danding City or Longquan Courtyard mainly because he was afraid that they would be discovered. That would be troublesome to deal with. After bidding farewell to Sikong Chuyu, Night Sorrow planned to leave with Aoi and Yang Lei, who were on the street. At that moment, Uncle Nyo pulled Night Sorrow into the backyard of his inn. "Come, Uncle doesn't have anything to give you. Take this wine with you." "Uncle, how can I let you spend so much money?" Night Sorrow said embarrassedly. "What's wrong with you, kid? You've been away for 1 or 2 years and you've become so shy. Just take it when I tell you to. It doesn't cost much." Uncle Nyo glared at Night Sorrow and yelled at him. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that if he didn't take it, Uncle Nyo would get angry. Then he took a few jars. "Night Sorrow, we watched you grow up. You're no different from our own child. Everyone in the village is grateful to you for being able to live such a good life. So you don't have to stand on ceremony with your uncles and aunties." Aunt Lin came with a few robes in her hands. What else could Night Sorrow say? He could only bow and accept the robes. "If you're tired outside, come back. Get a wife and live a stable life. If you have children, Aunt Lin will help you take care of them." Aunt Lin glanced at Aoi and Yang Lei and said. Aunt Lin's glance made Aoi and Yang Lei blush. People in the mountains were honest, but her words and gaze were too direct. Night Sorrow smiled and didn't answer. Then, he bade farewell to everyone. When he reached the street, he turned around and glanced at Father Gu, who was standing at the entrance of the alley. Night Sorrow bowed deeply, then released Tianyu and jumped onto Tianyu's back. Aoi and Yang Lei also released the green condor and left with Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow can enter the Medicine Valley. He will become a big shot in the future, Aunt Lin said with emotion. This lord is not an ordinary disciple in the Medicine Valley. He is at least an elite disciple, a steward of the Chamber of Commerce said. Steward Zhou, tell us, what is an elite disciple? Uncle Nyo was interested. Just now, when that lord bent down to take the wine, his tight-fitting sleeves were exposed from under his robes. There was a silver medicine cauldron symbol on it. Ordinary disciples of the Medicine Valley are not qualified to wear such robes, said Steward Zhou of the Chamber of Commerce. Yi Shang will have a bright future, Auntie Lin said firmly. You latest B chapter previous plus. The higher this lord's status in the Medicine Valley, the smoother Bamboo Garden Town's future development will be. Don't sell the shops and land in your hands. If you want to sell them, you have to come to me first, Steward Zhou said with a smile. Get lost, you Zhoubapi. How dare you cheat people? I'm not done with you, Father Gu shouted from not far away. Father Gu, I'm not an unscrupulous merchant. Otherwise, I wouldn't say this, right? Steward Zhou didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Chapter 204. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go/Little? We will provide you with interesting novels to read. Yes, we've arranged to meet at the inn in Grass Valley. Night Sorrow nodded. Then clean up Xiaogu Town when we get back. The grand ceremony to celebrate the Supreme Elder's breakthrough to the exalted stage is coming soon. Xiaogu Town will become lively and there will be more people coming. However, it won't be that quick. It will take at least half a month for the people from all sides to arrive, said Yang Lei. Which peak is in charge of Grass Valley Town now? Night Sorrow asked. I don't know. It was Danding Peak last year. I don't care which peak it is this year. However, it won't be a problem to arrange for you to go there. After all, your senior sister is an elder. Yang Lei patted her chest and said, Mind your image, Aoi said helplessly as she looked at Yang Lei patting her perky chest. Isn't it just in front of junior brother? I won't do this in front of others. Yang Lei was hurt by Aoi's words. 13 is not young anymore. You can't be like this. Aoi said. It's okay. Senior sister, you can do whatever you want. Night Sorrow could tell that Yang Lei was a little embarrassed. I really don't know what to do with you guys. Aoi was a little helpless. After 3 days, the three of them returned to Medicine Valley. Without going to Longquan Courtyard, Night Sorrow went to Danding Peak. He wanted to talk to Yu Yongyu about bringing Sikong Chuyu to Bamboo Forest Peak. He had to ask for instructions. In a loft behind Danding Peak, Night Sorrow and the other two met Yu Yongyu. You're back. It's rare for you to go back. You can stay for a few more days. Yu Yongyu said with a smile when he saw Night Sorrow. Disciple has something to say to Master. Please make a decision. Night Sorrow bowed and said, if there's something difficult, just tell Master. It's okay. Lu Yongyu nodded. Night Sorrow then told him about Sikong Chuyu. Sure. Even if there is a real problem, I will step in. However, I will only step in as a personal matter. After all, this matter has nothing to do with the Medicine Valley, Yu Yongyu said. Thank you for your permission, Master. Night Sorrow bowed. All right, go ahead. Yu Yongyu nodded. After leaving Danding Peak, Yonglei, Aoi and Night Sorrow went to Caogu Town and found the person in charge of maintaining order. The leader of the patrol team this time was Feng Yan, a disciple of Wuwei Peak's Yi Shui. He was also ranked 7th on the Yuan leaderboard. The situation has been a little tense recently. Let Night Sorrow assist you in Caogu Town for a few days. Yonglei said to Feng Yan. Thank you, Elder. Disciple was just worried that the situation would be too tense to control. Feng Yan said happily. First take care. 13, stay here. They will probably be here in a few days. As for big senior brother, I will go and greet him with 6th senior sister. We will come to visit you later. Yonglei said to Night Sorrow. All right. Night Sorrow nodded. After Aoi and Yonglei left, Feng Yan pulled Night Sorrow to an inn. Uncle Master, I have always wanted to treat you to a drink but never had the chance. Since we are free today, why don't we drink to our heart's content? Boss, bring the meat and wine up. All right, let's drink to our heart's content. Night Sorrow was also in a good mood. The two of them grabbed the beef and drank the wine in big mouthfuls. Two dishonest people. How can I miss out on such a thing? Shi Yunhai came. Seeing Night Sorrow and Feng Yan drinking, he pulled a chair and joined in. Subsequently, more and more people came to drink. Lan Yu, Huang Qian, Danding Peak's Chen Yun and the rest all joined in. Uncle Master Knight, we are all disciples on the Yuan leaderboard. We should take care of each other. Let me remind you, you have offended my Uncle Master Lin Jingyi. You may end up in a terrible state. Lan Yu said after drinking a mouthful of wine. I'll go and apologize when I have the time. Night Sorrow said. If apologizing works, then the world will be peaceful. You had better think of a way to resolve this. Otherwise, you can ask your master to come forward and ask for her hand in marriage. Once you accept her, everything will be settled. Lan Yu said with a smile. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Night Sorrow put down the wine bowl in his hand and said, What did you say? Just as Night Sorrow was speaking, Lin Jingyi entered the inn. Currently, Feng Yan was in charge of the safety of Grass Valley Town. He was the leader of the patrol team. However, the Medicine Valley had also sent out a second-generation disciple to hold the fort. This was a sect mission. There was a certain amount of merit points as a reward. Coincidentally, the person who had accepted this mission was Lin Jingyi. What? What did I say? Looking at Lin Jingyi's cold face, Night Sorrow knew that she was looking for trouble. At the same time he was displeased. I'm asking you. What did you say just now? Lin Jingyi said as she took 2 steps in front of Night Sorrow. I said it's impossible. What's wrong? Night Sorrow stood up and asked. Have you grown hair on your head? Lin Jingyi's body flashed and kicked Night Sorrow's abdomen, causing Night Sorrow to retreat 6 to 7 steps. Lin Jingyi's speed was too fast. Night Sorrow couldn't dodge at all. I'll remember this. Kill me today if you can. Night Sorrow wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. With a wave of his arm, 4 sky-piercing spears appeared in his hands. Junior Master Lin, please calm down. Lan Yu quickly stood in front of Lin Jingyi. Junior Master Lin, you've gone overboard. Feng Yan and Shi Yunhai stood in front of Night Sorrow. Are the few of you rebelling? Lin Jingyi looked coldly at Shi Yunhai and Feng Yan. We don't have any intention of rebelling. However, Junior Master Lin, you can't go overboard. Feng Yan said. Yunhai, Feng Yan, Chen Yun. Move aside. I want to see if she can kill me today. Night Sorrow took 2 steps forward. Do you think I don't dare? Lin Jingyi looked at Night Sorrow with an ashen face. Overbearing. You've always been overbearing. I believe you dare. Come on. Today, I'll go all out with Crepe Myrtle. Let's see what you can do. Night Sorrow's true chi and myriad Dao Tome's energy were channeled into his arms. As long as Lin Jingyi moved, he would shoot the sky-piercing spears. At this moment, he was furious. All along, Night Sorrow had tried his best to avoid Crepe Myrtle's matters. Every time, he would accompany her with a smile. Even at Danding Cliff, when Lin Jingyi's attitude was not good, he would welcome her with a smile. However, when Lin Jingyi attacked him directly, he could not accept it. Lin Jingyi squinted her eyes and looked at Night Sorrow. She did not expect Night Sorrow's reaction to be so strong. She was a little regretful. She should not have attacked Night Sorrow directly. However, now that Night Sorrow did not give her any face, she had no way to resolve the situation. She also understood that as long as she attacked, the 4 short spears in Night Sorrow's hand would be shot out. The power must be amazing. Junior Master, let's forget about this. It's not good to make a big deal out of it. Lan Yu said. Whose side are you on? Lin Jingyi looked at Lan Yu. Chapter 205. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? Sade Net, providing you with interesting novels to read. While they were in a stalemate, a woman entered the inn. She was wearing a purple dress with a thin veil covering her face. Her face was also covered by a white veil. Love, go, little, say. Netka the woman came to Night Sorrow's side. Are you all right? I'm here. I'm fine, let's go. Night Sorrow kept the 4 sky-piercing spears into his storage ring and said to the veiled woman. No, since they bullied you, you have to fight back. Is it honorable for a level 5 spirit-severing stage cultivator to attack a chi-gathering stage cultivator? If you want to fight, I'll accept it. The woman stood in front of Night Sorrow. Forget it, this is a conflict between us. It's nothing, let's go. Night Sorrow did not want Sikong Chuyu to cause too much of a commotion, nor did he want Sikong Chuyu to stand up for him. Sikong Chuyu was not willing to give up like this, but Night Sorrow pulled him back, so he could only leave. After leaving the inn, Night Sorrow summoned Tianyu and brought Sikong Chuyu towards the Taishan Peak. Martial uncle, what you did today was wrong. You can't just hit people directly. Luckily, Martial uncle stopped in the end. If you hit both of them, this matter would be blown out of proportion. Lan Yu said. Hit what? They are peak level 4 spirit-severing stage cultivators. Lin Jingyi glared at Lan Yu and turned to leave. Lan Yu, Feng Yan, Shi Yunhai and Chen Yun looked at each other. When did Night Sorrow have such a fierce person by his side? Senior sister Lan Yu, I think that girl is quite young. From her gaze, she seems to be much younger than Junior Master Lin, Feng Yan said. Sigh, Junior Master Lin has gone overboard this time. I'm worried that this matter won't end just like that. Junior Master Yi probably won't say anything, but this matter will still spread to Taishan Peak. Given the temper of Junior Master Aoi and Junior Master Yang Lei, they will definitely not let this matter rest, Feng Yan said. What should we do? Lan Yu was a little anxious. What should we do? Hurry back and report this to Martial Uncle Tang. What the hell is going on? Shi Yunhai muttered. You guys can continue bickering. I'm leaving first. Lan Yu and Huang Qian both got up and left. Today's matter was nothing if it was said to be small, but if it was said to be big then it was very big. Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu went directly to the Tai Xian Hall. He wanted to know Gong Xian's opinion. In front of the Tai Xian Hall, Night Sorrow got off the Tianyu. When he jumped to the ground, he suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. Night Sorrow, are you okay? Sikong Chuyu anxiously supported Night Sorrow. I'm fine. My internal organs were a little shaken. This is blood clot, Night Sorrow said as he wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. What happened to 13? Gong Xian, Wu Qi, Huanan, Aoi and the rest all walked out of the hall. Nothing much. I just accidentally got hurt. Senior brother, can I bring her to Bamboo Forest Peak for a while? Night Sorrow looked at Gong Xian and asked. Of course. Go directly to where I used to live. Bamboo Forest Peak will be your territory in the future. Also, what happened to you? Gong Xian frowned and looked at Night Sorrow. It's nothing. Senior brothers and sisters, I'll bring Chuyu to Bamboo Forest Peak. Night Sorrow bowed to Gong Xian and the rest. Chuyu thanks senior brothers and sisters for taking care of her. Sikong Chuyu also bowed slightly. Then go. Gong Xian nodded. Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu left. Gong Xian's face turned cold. Old 9, you and 11 go and find out where 13 went and where she got hurt. Yang Lei and Mo Chen nodded and left Tai Xian Hall. Their first stop was Caogu Town. Yang Lei and Night Sorrow parted not long ago at Caogu Town. When they arrived at Caogu Town, Yang Lei and Mo Chen stopped Feng Yan, Shi Yunhai and the rest who were about to leave. Do you know what happened to Night Sorrow here? Yang Lei asked. I'm not sure. Feng Yan said softly. He didn't want to hide it for Lin Jingyi, but he didn't want to have any conflicts in Medicine Valley. Not sure? Don't you know that Night Sorrow will vomit blood and have a footprint on his abdomen? Yang Lei roared. Is Martial Uncle Night's injury very serious? Feng Yan asked. Try being kicked in your dantian by a rank 4 cultivator. Shi Yunhai muttered. Who did it? Mo Chen's face was filled with murderous intent. He heard Shi Yunhai's words and knew that Night Sorrow was injured by a rank 4 cultivator. Martial uncles, this is just a small conflict within the sect. Why don't you calm down? Chen Yun said. A small conflict within the sect? As a disciple of Medicine Valley, it's right for you to want to calm down the conflict. However, as Night Sorrow's senior sister and senior brother, we have our own opinions. If someone of the same rank seriously injured Night Sorrow, then we have nothing to say. A rank 4 spirit severing stage cultivator actually dared to attack a Yuan gathering stage disciple. Who was it? Yang Lei asked coldly. What's there to hide? It's wrong to kick in the dantian. If you don't say, then I will. It's Crepe Myrtle's martial uncle Lin Jingyi. Shi Yunhai said directly when he saw Feng Yan and Chen Yun stuttering. 11th junior brother. Go back and tell eldest senior brother that I'm going to Crepe Myrtle. Yang Lei said to Mo Chen and then got on the Green Eagle. She was calm. It was the calmness of extreme anger. I'll go now. Mo Chen rode the golden-winged eagle and flew towards Tai Xian Hall. This matter was serious. He wanted to accompany Yang Lei to Crepe Myrtle, but he felt that it was important to call for help. Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu came to the bamboo house where Gong Xian used to live and started to tidy it up. There were 3 rooms in the bamboo house. Other than the east and west rooms, there was also a living room in the middle. Fortunately, there are 2 rooms. If there was only 1 room, then it would be troublesome. Night Sorrow said with a smile. 1 room? Then you can stay under the roof. Sikong Chuyu looked at Night Sorrow with a smile. Hee, that's quite ruthless. But I mind. Night Sorrow took out a wine jar and drank a mouthful of wine. In the future, drink less wine and drink more tea. Sikong Chuyu stared at Night Sorrow. Oh right, are you really okay? I'm really okay. Yi Shang knocked on his chest and abdomen. He was very glad. If he didn't have the Myriad Dao treasured book to protect him, Lin Jingyi's kick would have crippled his dantian or severely injured him. You rest for a while. I'll get some water to make tea. Sikong Chuyu smiled at Night Sorrow and went to the stream in front to get water to make tea. Looking at Sikong Chuyu's swaying figure, Night Sorrow was very satisfied. He liked this feeling very much. Yang Lei went directly to the front of Crepe Myrtle's main hall. Lin Jingyi, get out here. Oh head. Hearing Yang Lei's words, Tang Qianqian's expression changed after hearing Lan Yu and Huang Qian's report. She knew this was going to be troublesome, but she didn't expect it to come so quickly. Junior sister Yang, why are you so angry? We can sit down and talk. Tang Qianqian said. Chapter 206. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Tang Qianqian's expression changed. She knew what the sound of wind and thunder was. It was the sign of the sect's ultimate skill, Wind and Thunder Sword technique. Elder Yang, please calm down. We will definitely resolve this matter. Lan Yu, please ask your martial uncle Lin to come out. Tang Qianqian knew that things were getting troublesome. Lin Jingyi might have caused a big problem. She heard Lan Yu's report just now and knew that Lin Jingyi had gone overboard. She kicked Knight Sorrow's Dantian without mercy. This was really inexcusable. If 13 doesn't join Crepe Myrtle, you will cripple him? Let's see what kind of explanation you can give me today. Yang Lei said with a cold face. Soon, under Lan Yu's lead, Lin Jingyi arrived. You crazy woman. When Yang Lei saw Lin Jingyi, she waved her sword and slashed out. The sound of wind and thunder could be heard as a beam of sword chi flew towards Lin Jingyi. Lin Jingyi's expression changed and she dodged to the side. When the ray of sword chi passed by, a deep black ditch appeared on the bluestone ground in front of the Crepe Myrtle Hall as if it was struck by lightning. Elder Yang, please don't attack first. Let's talk things over. A few second-generation disciples of Crepe Myrtle stood in front of Lin Jingyi. There's nothing to talk about. She wants to cripple my junior brother, so I will cripple her. No one can stop me. Get out of my way. Yang Lei waved her black sword and said. At this time, Gong Xian, Wu Qi, Hua Nan and the others had all arrived. Only Mo Chen was not here. He was sent out by Gong Xian. Number 4 first, Peak Master Gong. Tang Qianqian cupped her hands and greeted Gong Xian. Junior sister Tang, I don't want to talk too much about what happened. Lin Jingyi has gone too far in this matter. She directly attacked the Dantian of the Yuan leaderboard's leader with a cultivation of rank 4. This matter can't be justified no matter where you go. Hand him over. Peak Master Gong, junior sister Lin is in the wrong. We can solve it. We can apologize or anything. Tang Qianqian said. No. Call him out. Gong Xian said coldly. Gong Xian, are you trying to show off in Crepe Myrtle? Yi Xiling appeared. I wouldn't dare. A disciple of Crepe Myrtle's level 5 spirit separating stage disciple attacked a Taishan Peak's Yuan gathering stage disciple, and even directly attacked his Dantian. Peak Lord Yi, can you teach me how to deal with this? Gong Xian looked at Yi Xiling and said coldly. After hearing Gong Xian's words, Yi Xiling's expression changed. If this was true, then it was serious. Who did you hurt? Yi Xiling asked. She really hoped that it wasn't Night Sorrow. Yang Lei's answer was filled with killing intent, causing Yi Xiling's heart to sink to the bottom. Jingyi, come out. Tell us what happened. If the Taishan Peak doesn't accept, you can cripple your own cultivation base and commit suicide. Yi Xiling said coldly. Just as Yi Xiling was speaking, the Grand Elder brought Feng Yan and Shi Yunhai over. I knew something was going to happen. We're too late. The Grand Elder knows. Yi Xiling's expression was very ugly. Yes. Yang Lei and Mo Chen knew that Night Sorrow was injured, so they went to Caogu Town to investigate. These two disciples were stopped by Yang Lei on the spot and told her the details. They were worried that the matter would blow up, so they reported it to me. I heard that Night Sorrow directly vomited blood at the entrance of Taishan Peak. Xiling, this is too much. The Grand Elder sighed. It seems that Night Sorrow didn't tell senior brother and senior sister about this matter. If he did, with Yang Lei and Gong Xian's temper, they wouldn't have sent people to Caogu Town. This child is good. Qianqian, bring Jingyi to apologize tomorrow. If they don't accept, you know what to do. This bottle of elixir is also given to Night Sorrow. Yi Xiling sighed and said, Xiling, you have to go too. You know the Valley Master's temper when he protects his disciples. The Grand Elder smiled bitterly. After Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu cleaned up the bamboo hut, they drank tea and chatted. Sikong Chuyu even specially checked on Night Sorrow's injuries. While the two were chatting, Yu Yongyu and Gong Xian arrived. The others were sent away by Yu Yongyu and didn't come over. Master. Junior Sikong Chuyu greets the Valley Master. Seeing Yu Yongyu, Sikong Chuyu and Night Sorrow both stood up and bowed. Are your injuries serious? Yu Yongyu looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I'm fine. My internal organs are a little shaken. Master, you know? Night Sorrow said with some surprise. If there's anything, just tell me. Crepe Myrtle will come tomorrow to deal with this matter. If the other party knows she's wrong, then let it go. After all, she's a woman. Yu Yongyu said. This disciple understands. Night Sorrow nodded. Chapter 207. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Thank you, Valley Master. Sikong Chuyu nodded her head. Yes. Sikong Chuyu nodded her head. You're welcome. Yu Yongyu nodded and left after chatting for a while. Night Sorrow, your master and senior brothers and sisters really cherish you. If I'm not wrong, they've already gone to cause trouble for that woman, Sikong Chuyu said. Sigh. I don't want to cause trouble for master, senior brother, and senior sister. Night Sorrow sighed. That woman is too arrogant. It's good to teach her a lesson. You haven't told me how you provoked her. Sikong Chuyu was more interested in this. Yi Shang simply recounted his conflict with Crepe Myrtle Peak from beginning to end. Just because you didn't want to join Crepe Myrtle, just because you rejected your master's proposal, she hit you? Sikong Chuyu looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. Yes. That's embarrassing. I can't beat him, Night Sorrow said in embarrassment. She has been cultivating longer than you, so it's normal for her cultivation level to be higher than yours. That's good, Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. What? What's good? Night Sorrow asked. Nothing. Then why don't you agree? That woman's cultivation base is very high and she is very beautiful, Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. What does her beauty have to do with me? I don't like her, Night Sorrow said seriously. Then what do you like? Sikong Chuyu looked at Night Sorrow with her beautiful smiling eyes. Can we not talk about this? Night Sorrow blushed. Sikong Chuyu nodded. Night Sorrow's blushing face had already explained the answer. When they were resting, Night Sorrow stayed in the east room while Sikong Chuyu stayed in the west room. There was a living room in between. At dawn, when Yi Shang finished his cultivation, Sikong Chuyu also finished washing her face and rinsing her mouth. She also prepared water for Yi Shang to wash his face. I can do it myself. I'm not used to you, Night Sorrow said with embarrassment. You'll get used to it slowly. I don't know how long I'll have to stay here, Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. Is it because you're not used to me here? How about I go somewhere else? There's a bamboo house not far away. Night Sorrow was a little nervous being watched by Sikong Chuyu. It's good. I prefer this kind of life. It's simple, comfortable, and with you by my side. Sikong Chuyu looked at the nervous Night Sorrow. She wanted to laugh. She had seen many young masters, but Night Sorrow was the only one who wanted to avoid her. Without servants or ingredients, the two of them casually cooked some game. Not bad. 13. Add another set of chopsticks. Yang Lei came while the two of them were eating. Night Sorrow got up and added a chair, a bowl, and chopsticks. You two have a good life. Tomorrow, I'll arrange for the servants to deliver food every day. You can't delay your cultivation, Yang Lei said after sitting down to eat. Sure. Ninth senior sister, why are you here? Night Sorrow asked. Crepe Myrtle is coming today to settle yesterday's matter. I'm here to call you. You've given them face. They dare to use any means. Yang Lei was angry when she said this. Forget it. I'm a man. Why should I bother with a woman? I'm fine, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Yang Lei shook her head helplessly when she heard Night Sorrow's words. However, she admired Night Sorrow's magnanimity. Sikong Chuyu stayed at Zhuyuan Peak to cultivate. Night Sorrow and Yang Lei went to Taishan Peak. When the two of them arrived, many people had gathered in the main hall of Taishan Peak. Yu Yongyu was sitting in the main seat. The first elder sat on one side and drank tea. Gong Xian and Yi Xiling sat on both sides of the main hall. On one side of the hall stood Crepe Myrtle's people, while on the other side stood Taishan Peak's people. Yong Lu Jiu #FreeWatchLittleC. 13. You're here. Are you all right? The first elder looked at Night Sorrow and asked with a smile. I didn't expect the matter to be so serious. I've disturbed the first elder master and Peak Lord Yi. Night Sorrow bowed to them. Crepe Myrtle is in the wrong. Martial uncle brought her here to apologize. You can punish her however you want. I won't say anything even if you cripple her cultivation. Yi Xiling sighed. She really liked Night Sorrow, but she didn't expect things to escalate to this extent. Junior brother Knight. I'm in the wrong. If you have any complaints or requests for punishment, you can tell me. Please don't make things difficult for my master. Lin Jingyi stood up and said. Senior sister Lin, you're too serious. You were just impulsive. Let bygones be bygones. I really didn't want to blow things up. I'm sorry. Night Sorrow cupped his hands and said to Lin Jingyi. Yi Shang was very happy to stay with Sikong Chuyu on Bamboo Garden Peak, so he didn't hold a grudge. Seeing Lin Jingyi apologize in front of so many people, he also felt somewhat apologetic. Jingyi, this is magnanimity. Night Sorrow came back yesterday, but he didn't say anything. He didn't want to argue with you at all. Look at what you've done. Yi Xiling looked at Lin Jingyi angrily and said, I know I'm in the wrong. I'm willing to face the wall and reflect. Lin Jingyi also reflected on herself yesterday. She knew that she had gone too far. In fact, she was too angry at that time. She didn't want to attack Night Sorrow's Dantian. She just kicked him to vent her anger. In the end, she kicked Night Sorrow's Dantian. It's good that the matter is resolved. I also believe that you didn't mean to cripple Night Sorrow. In the future you have to learn a lesson. If it was someone else who couldn't withstand your kick and had their cultivation destroyed, no one would be able to save you. This is the first time and also the last time. Yu Yongyu said. He was still very unhappy. I really didn't mean it. I was just angry. I don't know why I kicked him. Lin Jingyi wiped her eyes and said with a choked voice. Okay, that's it. Seeing Lin Jingyi cry, Yu Yongyu directly waved his hand and didn't want to listen to it. Night Sorrow, I hate you to death. Lin Jingyi turned and ran out after saying that. Master Night Sorrow was speechless. Why did Lin Jingyi say that she hated him again? Yi Xiling also shook her head helplessly. She knew that when Lin Jingyi said that she hated him, she didn't necessarily hate him. After that, the Great Elder and Yu Yongyu grabbed Night Sorrow and lectured him. Yesterday's matter was not right. It would make the conflict worse. If there were any problems in the future, he would have to face it. Yi Xiling took the pill that she gave to Tang Qianqian yesterday and handed it to Night Sorrow. I really like you. Even if I lost face today, it won't change this. If you have time, go to Crepe Myrtle and have tea with me. If those girls bully you again, you don't need your senior brothers or senior sisters. I will help you vent your anger. Thank you, Martial Aunt. I'm really sorry about what happened today. Night Sorrow said apologetically. Chapter 208. A Genius Remembering Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Xiling, our Medicine Valley needs such unreasonable people. Everyone knows about the situation at Taishan Peak. The Valley Master was domineering when he was at Taishan Peak. Now, the same spirit still exists at Taishan Peak. If the entire Medicine Valley has the same spirit as the Taishan Peak, then who would dare to strut around in the Medicine Valley? Great Elder said as he knocked his walking stick on the ground. It's because you're strong. You're just a bully. Yi Xiling said as she glanced at Yu Yongyu. You! Great Elder was a little helpless. However, he also understood that the reason for being domineering was because of her personality and her strength. A domineering person without strength would be beaten to a pulp. Night Sorrow, I'm leaving now. Remember my words. Yi Xiling waved at Night Sorrow and left. Gong Xian and the others were helpless. Yi Xiling was determined to poach Yi Xiling to the end. Even if she lost face, she did not give up on this idea. Peak Master Ye's greatest strength is her persistence. No matter what she does, she will never give up easily. This is what you all need to learn, Great Elder said to Gong Xian and the others. Gong Xian and the others nodded. They had indeed seen this point. Night Sorrow, 9th level of Element Gathering Tier. You can't rush from now on. Take it slow, Great Elder said to Night Sorrow. I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. Then, Night Sorrow bowed and was about to leave. He still wanted to go back and cultivate. Don't go out during this period. You must attend the celebration of Grand Elder Hua entering the Venerable One realm, Yu Yongyu said. I will congratulate Grand Elder Hua, Yi Jiandian said. That's not the case. During the celebration, many sects will come here with their disciples. Sparring is unavoidable. The sect needs you to fight, Yu Yongyu said to Night Sorrow. Eldest senior brother. Send someone to inform me when the time comes. I will definitely be there, Night Sorrow said to Gong Xian. All right, you go back first. I'll arrange for 2 servant disciples to go over later. Gong Xian nodded to Night Sorrow. In the Medicine Valley, or rather in the various forces, he was a disciple who was worth nurturing. They didn't have to worry about trivial matters. They had servants and odd jobs disciples to serve them. Only in this way could they concentrate on cultivating. When he returned to his residence at Bamboo Forest Peak, Night Sorrow saw Sikong Chuyu practicing her swordsmanship. Her body danced like a fairy descending to the mortal world. You're back. Did you deal with it? Sikong Chuyu stopped cultivating and asked. Yes. Not only did she apologize, but she also gave me a bottle of medicinal pills. It should be healing pills. Yi Shang took out the bottle of pills Yi Yiling had given him. He poured out one pill and studied it. Then, he confirmed that it was a core-fortifying pill for healing injuries. It was a high-grade pill that could be used when one's true energy was unstable due to internal injuries. I'll give you half. Night Sorrow took out a jade bottle and poured the medicinal pills out. I have some. When I'm outside, how can my parents and grandfather not give me medicinal pills? You take care of yourself, Sikong Chuyu said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded and began to cultivate. He cultivated the wind spear art, the killing fist art, and the dragon leap steps together. While performing the dragon leap steps, Night Sorrow slowly integrated the artistic conception of Sui Yun body art. The ingenuity of the dragon leap steps was its strangeness, variability, and speed. The artistic conception of Sui Yun body art was its elegance and flexibility. These two aspects did not conflict. Sikong Chuyu was stunned for a moment when she saw Night Sorrow cultivating his body art. She also cultivated the dragon leap steps, but it was inferior to Night Sorrow's. In terms of flexibility, there was no way to compare. Moreover, it looked elegant and unrestrained. However, she did not ask. This was considered a personal matter. If it was inconvenient for him to answer, Night Sorrow would be in a difficult position. At noon, some odd job disciples came over with vegetables, fruits, and other things. Night Sorrow instructed them to help Tianyu roast some food every morning. After that they could go back. Night Sorrow knew how to cook. When he was living with Father Gu in Bamboo Garden Village, he did it himself. As for roasting food for Tianyu, Night Sorrow felt that it wasn't good to keep feeding Tianyu beast origin pills. If Tianyu liked it, it was better to eat demon beast meat if he had the time. What Night Sorrow hadn't expected was that Sikong Chuyu also knew how to cook. Moreover, his skills were pretty good. However, Sikong Chuyu didn't allow him to drink wine. He could only drink tea. In the blink of an eye, over 20 days passed. Although he didn't use origin gathering pills to cultivate, Night Sorrow's cultivation base had advanced to the mid-9th level of essence gathering realm. His myriad Dao cannon's cultivation base had advanced very quickly. He had already reached the late 6th level of muscle strengthening. Although he wasn't far from the 7th level of muscle strengthening, Night Sorrow stopped cultivating. That was because tomorrow was the day of the celebration for Hua Yunping's advancement to the 6th rank Venerable Realm. Mo Chen and Chu Lingfei had come together to inform Night Sorrow. At noon, they had lunch together. Mo Chen wanted to drink wine. Night Sorrow looked at Sikong Chuyu. You should drink when there are guests. I'm saying that you should drink less when you're alone. I'm not forbidding you from drinking. Sikong Chuyu felt a little embarrassed when Night Sorrow looked at him. Mo Chen and Chu Lingfei were also looking at him. 13 Not bad. You know how to be obedient now. Mo Chen smiled. 11th senior brother. You're teasing me. Tomorrow is the celebration. What do I have to do? Night Sorrow asked. The celebration, or rather, the establishment ceremony. Tomorrow, all the higher-ups of the Medicine Valley will be there. The disciples of the Origin ranking, Alchemy ranking, and Heaven ranking will also be there. There will be some challenges in between, Emo-chan said. Then I'll wait for the arrangement tomorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. Many people will come this time. The Golden Flame Sect, the Freedom Sect, and the Southern Dipper Sect will all send people to watch the ceremony. They are the three superpowers. The Fire Tiger Sect, the Tai clan of Nanyang City, and the O clan of the Eightley Castle will also come. They are the first-class forces in the territory of the Golden Flame Sect, which is similar to our Medicine Valley. But that was in the past. Now, they can't compare with our Medicine Valley. In addition, many people from the Qingshui sect will also come. Emo-chen poured wine for Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu. They will definitely cause trouble if they come. I'm the one who caused the trouble, Night Sorrow said with a smile. It's none of your business. The Qingshui sect won't make trouble in a day or two. During the celebration, these sects will send their disciples to the stage to compete. To put it bluntly, it's a process of fighting for face and slapping faces, Emo-chen said to Night Sorrow. But my cultivation is too low. I don't think I can do it. Night Sorrow was a little unconfident. What are you afraid of? Soldier against soldier, general against general. Of course, people in the energy gathering realm will compete with people of the same level. I'm the one who's depressed. I won't get any merit points this time, Emo-chen curled his lips and said. What do you mean? Sikong Chuyu asked for Night Sorrow. Why forever G long free of charge X? Reading novel I. Chapter 209. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go/Little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Useless. Are you planning to stay in the core condensation realm forever? Chu Lingfei glared at Emo-chen. That's not what I meant. I just feel that it's a pity that I didn't earn merit points. It's a bit troublesome to go out and take on missions to earn merit points. Seeing that Chu Lingfei was a bit angry, Emo-chen hurriedly explained. Then senior brother and big sister Lingfei won't participate? Night Sorrow asked. Yes. Your senior brother and I are in the soul-severing stage. It's useless for us to go, so we won't go. Chu Lingfei nodded. Then tomorrow, big sister Lingfei will accompany Chuyu to watch the ceremony. Night Sorrow spoke his mind. Night Sorrow, don't you want me to accompany you? Don't you want me to follow you? Sikong Chuyu looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Night Sorrow shook his head. There will be many people tomorrow. I'm worried that if I go out, I'll be noticed. You'll be easily discovered if you're by my side. Of course, I want you to accompany me. Okay then. I'll follow big sister Lingfei tomorrow. After hearing Night Sorrow's answer, Sikong Chuyu was very satisfied. After staying for a while, Emo-chen and Chu Lingfei left. After walking for a while, Chu Lingfei turned back to look at Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu, who were washing the dishes. She nodded silently. They get along very well. Baidu search love, go xiao xua, www.aichux.com. Emo-chen smiled. Originally, I was worried that Sikong's cultivation level and background wouldn't be suitable for 13. In the future, 13 might leave quietly. But now, I'm not worried. After cultivating for a night, Night Sorrow changed into Medicine Valley's tights and left the room. Sikong Chuyu was also ready. Here, put on the outer robe too. Sikong Chuyu put on Night Sorrow's white silk robe with red edges. Night Sorrow nodded. During this period of time, he had learned to accept Sikong Chuyu's kindness. Sikong Chuyu also covered his face with a veil. After pondering for a moment, Night Sorrow removed the hollow jade pendant from his waist and placed it in his bosom. Why didn't you bring it? Sikong Chuyu asked. I'm afraid I'll break it, Night Sorrow said as he patted his chest. Sikong Chuyu smiled. She felt warm in her heart. Night Sorrow didn't say anything heartwarming, but his simple actions showed the most practical things. He ran into Emo-chan and Chu Lingfei as soon as he walked out of the bamboo forest. I'm here to pick you up. In order not to attract attention, Sikong, come with me. Chu Lingfei said with a smile. 13, come with me. You're under a lot of pressure this time. The geniuses of Golden Flame Sect, Su Yuan, Zhan Xia, and the Little Devil of Xiaoyao Sect are all here. I've asked around. They're all said to be invincible at the same level. They're all at the peak of essence gathering stage, Emo-chen said to Night Sorrow. It doesn't matter. After they defeat me, it'll be more appropriate for them to say that they're invincible, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Haha. Well said. I don't think Medicine Valley can beat him. I don't think Lin Tianjue can do it. I wonder if EU from Wuwei Peak can do it. Emo-chen said. Baidu search AI Go Xiao Xua www.aichux.com. Who's EU? He's very powerful. Is he stronger than Lin Tianjue? Night Sorrow asked. Lin Tianjue. How should I describe him? He's just a piece of shit. EU's combat strength is very strong. He's ranked 10th on the pill ranking and reached it at the 7th level of the core condensation realm. He has very strong combat strength. He's been in seclusion for a long time and has been doing sect missions. He's already at the peak of core condensation realm. That's good. This is the Grand Elder celebration, the Medicine Valley's establishment ceremony. It'd be a shame if it was destroyed so easily, Night Sorrow and Emo-chen chatted as they walked. They didn't arrive at Taishan Peak because Gong Xian and the others had already set off. Riding on flying beasts, they went straight to the square of the mountain gate. This time, the seats set up in the square were different from those in the past. The Medicine Valley's seats were in the front. Some chairs were placed in front of them. Behind them were 12 groups, each with some chairs in front of them. In addition, there were also seats set up in the east, west, and south sides with some chairs. Emo-chen took Night Sorrow directly to the back of Gong Xian. 13th uncle has a seat, but we don't, Chu Ning, who was standing behind the seat, muttered. Then I'll let you sit. Do you want to sit? Yang Lei looked back at Chu Ning and asked. Ninth martial aunt. Please forgive me. I'm just not awake and talking nonsense, Chu Ning quickly apologized. If there was someone that the third-generation disciples of Taishan Peak feared the most, it would be Yang Lei. Too many people had seen the rattan fried meat. Am I that scary? Junior brother Tao, let's change seats. 13th uncle, am I that scary? Yang Lei pulled Tao Yuan and sat in Tao Yuan's seat. She reached out and wrapped her arms around Night Sorrow's neck. Ninth senior sister is the best senior sister, Night Sorrow said with a smile. AIE initial D. Start, ahem. 13th uncle, your words are hurting 6th senior sister's heart, Aoi coughed and said. 6th senior sister. You don't have to say anything. She is Night Sorrow's best senior sister, just like 9th senior sister, Night Sorrow said with a smile. 13th uncle is the best. This is the good wine that 6th senior sister made. If there's a battle later, drink some after it's over, Aoi said as she handed Night Sorrow a jar of wine. 13th uncle, you're too shameless. You drank all of 6th senior sister's good wine. The other senior brothers and I drank less than you in 10 years, Shi Tianlin said as he looked at the jar of wine in Night Sorrow's hand. 8th senior brother. Do you want to compare how much 6th senior sister favors 13th senior brother? The result is that you won't have any wine to drink in the future. Yang Lei said with a smile. All right. I didn't say anything, Shi Tianlin said helplessly. How about this? After the ceremony is over, us senior brothers and junior sisters will gather at the little house in the bamboo forest. We'll have a good gathering and drink as much as we want, Aoi said with a smile. Thank you, 6th senior sister, Shi Tianlin and Tao Yuan said with a smile. In the middle of the main seats, Grand Elder and Yu Yongyu sat and chatted. Valley Master, Taishan Peak senior brothers and junior sisters are really close. This is something that other peaks can't compare to. This is also something that I'm proud of. I hope they can maintain this friendship forever, Yu Yongyu smiled. As the master, he was proud of the harmony between his disciples. Don't worry about it. They're all past the age of being competitive. There won't be any conflicts, Grand Elder said with a smile. Yu Yongyu nodded. He was relieved that none of his disciples were greedy. Previously, when he was appointed as the Valley Master of Danding Peak, he asked his disciples if they were willing to follow him to Danding Peak. However, no one went. If they followed Yu Yongyu to Danding Peak, they would have the chance to be groomed as the Valley Master's successor. Everyone knew this, but no one went. Even Night Sorrow didn't want to go. It was clear that no one cared about the status and identity. This made Yu Yongyu happy but also disappointed. Chapter 210. Genius 1 Second Remember Love Go/Xiao? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. The Freedom Sect and the Southern Dipper Sect have both sent their elders and direct disciples here. Su Huantian, the venerable of the Golden Flame Sect, is here to find out the truth, said the first elder. This is a challenge. Su Huantian's cultivation is much stronger than the Supreme Elder who just entered the Venerable Realm. If the Supreme Elder can withstand it, the Medicine Valley will have no problem, said Yu Yongyu. Supreme Elder Hua has always been very steady and won't take risks. In this area, it's unlikely for Su Huantian to defeat Supreme Elder Hua easily, said the first elder. Yu Yongyu nodded. After Hua Yunpeng advanced, he had been staying at Danding Cliff to stabilize his cultivation and communicate with the Eight-Dragon Cauldron. As time went by, almost all the guests had arrived. Then Qian Wu walked to the main seat. He was the host today. Qian Wu walked to the front of the stage and said, "The celebration for our Grand Supreme Elder entering the Venerable Realm will now begin. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for coming. Grand Supreme Elder Hua will personally thank all of you later." In the area of the Southern Dipper Sect, a man stood up and walked to the main seat. He said, "I'm Nanjun Yuan of the Southern Dipper Sect. I'm here to congratulate you on the order of the sect master. I'll send you 2 Southly Fire Stones. Baidu search, Love Go/Xiao Xua, www.aichux.com. Thank you for your hospitality, Sect Master Nan." Yu Yongyu stood up and took the gift from Nanjun Yuan. "You're welcome, Valley Master Lu." Nanjun Yuan cupped his hands and left. Nanjun Yuan was the son of the sect master of the Southern Dipper Sect. His congratulatory gift was very important. Then, people from other forces came forward to present their congratulatory gifts. Everyone knew that the Golden Flame Sect and the Medicine Valley would fight. The Medicine Valley's venerable might be suppressed, but what if he wasn't? It wouldn't be a good thing to offend the Medicine Valley, so they had to present their congratulatory gifts. The Fire Tiger Sect, the Tai Clan of Nanyang City, the O Clan of Eightley Castle, and the Green Water Sect all sent congratulatory gifts. The master of the Green Water Sect, Miao Shui, came. Though his son's arm was chopped off by Night Sorrow, he still had to present a congratulatory gift. Before the celebration in Medicine Valley, Miao Shui had gone to the Golden Flame Sect. Zhan Tianyi, the deputy chief of the Golden Flame Sect, received him and promised him that if he took over the Medicine Valley today, the management of the Medicine Valley area would be handed over to the Qing Shui Sect. However, since the Golden Flame Sect didn't launch an attack, the Green Water Sect didn't dare to act recklessly. Without the support of the Jinyan Sect, the Medicine Valley could kill the Qing Shui Sect as easily as killing a chicken. The gifts from the Southern Dipper Sect and Free and Unfettered Sect were received by Yu Yongyu. The gifts from the other families and factions were received by Qian Wu. This was a matter of status. Now that the Medicine Valley had a venerable, it was no longer on the same level as the other first-class factions in the territory of the Golden Flame Sect. As the chief of the Medicine Valley, Yu Yongyu didn't need to lower his status. Qian Wu had already shown great respect by accepting the gifts. The factions that came to congratulate the Medicine Valley all presented their gifts. Now, only the Golden Flame Sect was left. Everyone's eyes fell on the Golden Flame Sect. They wanted to see how the Golden Flame Sect would deal with the conflict with the Medicine Valley a few days ago. As for the gifts from the Golden Flame Sect, wait until your venerable arrives and has the ability to take them. An old man appeared at the front of the seats of the Golden Flame Sect. Then, he sat on the seat that Zhan Tianyi gave up. "Greetings, Venerable Huantian." The disciples of the Golden Flame Sect all bowed. "All right." Yu Yongyu smiled. "I heard that there are many talents in the Medicine Valley. Let us see them. Zhan Ping, go up and see if there are any talents in the energy-gathering realm in the Medicine Valley. If they are mediocre, just kill them. They are useless to keep," Zhan Tianyi said to a young man behind him. "Haha, well said. Vice Sect Leader Zhan is right. If they are mediocre, then there is no need to keep them. Who wants to fight?" Hearing Zhan Tianyi's words, the great elder was so angry that he laughed. He shouted to the disciples of the Medicine Valley behind him, "Disciple will fight." Just as Night Sorrow stood up and was about to fight, Feng Yan stood up from behind the Wuwei Peak seats and walked towards the arena in the middle of the square. "Why are you in such a hurry? When we need you, we will call you." These small fries don't need you. Yang Lei's right hand, which was wrapped around Night Sorrow's neck, pulled Night Sorrow back to his seat. Night Sorrow nodded. At the same time, he looked towards the Medicine Valley. Then, he saw Sikong Chuyu and Chu Lingfei at an inconspicuous spot behind the Danding Peak seats. Seeing Night Sorrow looking over, Sikong Chuyu, who was wearing a veil, nodded slightly. Her beautiful eyes blinked slightly as she signaled to Night Sorrow. Turning around, Night Sorrow's nose twitched. Yang Lei was too close to him. Her scent was wafting into his nose. Little gangster, what are you doing? Yang Lei, who was leaning against Night Sorrow, scolded Night Sorrow in a very low voice. Looking at the people around him, Night Sorrow didn't dare to retort. At this moment, Feng Yan and Zhang Ping were facing each other in the arena. Original song, F.A. What's your rank on the Medicine Valley's Yuan leaderboard? Zhang Ping asked Feng Yan as he drew his long sword from his waist. 7th on the Yuan leaderboard. As for your position in the Golden Flame sect, I'm not interested, Feng Yan said as he waved the battle blade in his hand. Today is a good day. Then, I'll use your blood to dye this festive color, Zhang Ping said as he waved his sword and attacked. Feng Yan waved his blade to block, and the two of them started fighting in the arena. Feng Yan's flaming wind blade technique was swift and fierce. It was very domineering. On the other hand, Zhang Ping's movements were swift and his sword was tricky. Every time he attacked, he would attack Feng Yan's vital points from impossible angles. Feng Yan is a little impatient. If this goes on, he won't have a good chance of winning, Yang Lei said as she looked at the situation in the arena. Night Sorrow could also tell that Zhang Ping was very cunning. He relied on his quick movements and tricky sword to attack Feng Yan, depleting Feng Yan's qi. The main thing was that Feng Yan's violent blade technique consumed more qi than Zhang Ping's. If this goes on, won't Feng Yan lose? What should we do? Night Sorrow asked anxiously. There's nothing we can do. This is the arena. The Great Elder and the other party had made it very clear that this is a battle of elimination, Yang Lei said as she looked at the arena coldly. Just as Night Sorrow was worried, there was a change in the arena. Suddenly, Feng Yan's body stopped. The battle blade in his right hand also stopped attacking. When Feng Yan stopped, Zhang Ping's long sword stabbed into his waist. When Zhang Ping's attack succeeded, it was also the moment when he was in danger. Feng Yan suddenly stretched out his empty left hand and grabbed Zhang Ping's right hand that was holding the sword. Following which, he swung the battle blade in his right hand down. Zhang Ping's face changed as he kicked towards Feng Yan's waist. Feng Yan ignored Zhang Ping's kick and swung the battle blade in his right hand downwards. No sound was heard. Everyone only saw a flash of blood as Zhang Ping's right arm was chopped off by Feng Yan. However, Feng Yan was also kicked back a few steps. Chapter 211. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with interesting novels to read. How could Zhang Ping block Feng Yan's attack when he lost his weapon and an arm with blood flowing out? Zhang Ping tried his best to dodge Feng Yan's 2 slashes and turn to run. However, his balance and speed had decreased due to the loss of his arm. Feng Yan caught up to him in an instant. Feng Yan slashed Zhang Ping's back with all his strength and shattered his internal organs. Zhang Ping's body bent backward as he let out a final scream. Then, Feng Yan kicked his body out of the arena. After killing Zhang Ping, Feng Yan went to Medicine Valley's side and bowed while ignoring his bleeding waist. Valley Master, Grand Elder, I've killed a mediocre disciple. Very well. A mediocre disciple is useless. Just kill him. Go and treat your wounds. Yu Yongyu waved his hand and threw a pill bottle to Feng Yan. Fire Tiger Sect's disciple, Guan Zhongyue, would like to challenge you. A young man from the Fire Tiger Sect jumped into the arena. Medicine Valley's disciple, who would like to challenge me? Yu Yongyu asked. He understood the situation today. Fire Tiger Sect, Tai family of Nanyang City, O family of Aitley Castle, and Green Water Sect would stand on the Golden Flame Sect side to attack Medicine Valley. After all, these forces were affiliated to the Golden Flame Sect. They all knew that no matter how the situation developed today, their current decision would not be wrong. Regardless of whether the Medicine Valley's Venerable won or lost, it would not harm their interests. If the Medicine Valley lost, They would have performed well in front of the Golden Flame sect. If the Medicine Valley withstood the attack, they would still have the Golden Flame sect to back them up. Therefore, the leaders of these forces had instructed their disciples to join forces to attack the Medicine Valley. As for the Nandu sect and the Walkabout sect, the Medicine Valley knew about them. Nans Henyuan had communicated with Yu Yongyu and both sides had formed an alliance. As for the Walkabout sect, it was hard to say. At least they were not enemies. Your disciple is willing to come. Enlightenment stepped forward. He knew of Guanzhong Yue. The two of them had crossed paths before. At that time, there was no clear victor. He knew that among the current disciples on the Yuan ranking, other than Night Sorrow and Lan Yu, no one could defeat Guanzhong Yue. Lan Yu was a woman, and Night Sorrow was not suitable to fight at the moment. Only he was the most suitable. Good. As I said before, there is no need to keep mediocre people alive. Whether they live or die is up to fate, the Great Elder said. Enlightenment. We fought a year ago. I wonder how you've progressed this year, Guanzhong Yue said, waving his sword. You'll only know after you try. I won't let you down. Although the arena was filled with killing intent, Enlightenment's face was still full of smiles. What a hypocrite. You obviously want to kill him, but you still have a smile on your face. 13. You should learn from him, Aoi said to Night Sorrow. This is the style of Danding Peak. Our Taishan Peak doesn't need it. If you want to kill someone, just do it. What's the point of wasting time? 13. Don't you agree? Yonglei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I think so too. Night Sorrow nodded seriously. He really couldn't learn from Enlightenment. You too. I say you too. Tao Yuan looked at Yonglei, who was hugging Night Sorrow's shoulder, and didn't know what to say. Yonglei looked at Tao Yuan. What's wrong? Nothing. Let's watch the match. Tao Yuan turned to look at the arena. In the arena, Enlightenment and Guanzhong Yue had already started to fight. This was different from the previous matches between fellow disciples. They were using deadly moves. They're almost on par. That guy from Fire Tiger sect is already so hard to deal with. I wonder how strong Su Yuan and Zhan Xie from Golden Flame sect are. Mo Chen was a little worried. The situation was not good for Medicine Valley. 13. Let me ask you. Are you confident of winning against such an opponent? Yonglei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. No problem, right? I don't see how strong he is. He's just a little faster, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow was speaking from his own experience. When he was in the middle stage of Element Gathering Realm, Night Sorrow wasn't afraid of close combat because of his strength. However, because his cultivation of true Qi was low, his speed couldn't keep up with others. Now that he was in the middle stage of the 9th level of Element Gathering Realm, coupled with Dragon Leap steps, Night Sorrow wasn't afraid of anyone in the same level as him. Very soon, there was a clear winner in the field. In the first round, Qiming, like Feng Yan, injured Guanzhong Yue's right arm. At the same time, Qiming's left shoulder was also injured. There was a wound so deep that the bone could be seen. Blood had already dyed his battle robe red. Smart. Although the injury is serious, his combat ability won't decrease much. His opponent's injury is light, but it will affect his combat ability, Yonglei said. In fact, that was the truth. Enlightenment's left shoulder was injured, but his right arm was still performing sword arts, so his attack power didn't decrease. However, Guanzhong Yue's right arm was greatly affected. He was suppressed by Enlightenment and was forced to retreat. The injuries on his body were increasing. Then, at the edge of the arena, Enlightenment killed Guanzhong Yue with one strike. However, he also stumbled. He lost too much blood and was a little dizzy. Fortunately, the battle was over. He persevered until he killed his opponent. Kyong Bijou. Free. Look at the small queue. Some disciples of the Medicine Valley went up and helped Enlightenment, who was leaning on the ground with his long sword down. The Medicine Valley was applauding. Compared to the Medicine Valley, the other areas were silent. Everyone could see that Enlightenment and Guanzhong Yue were on par. However, Enlightenment, who had rich combat experience, knew how to weaken his opponent's ability. In the end, he was the last one to laugh. Nanxing, did you see that? This is the embodiment of combat experience. Many times, The level of cultivation isn't the absolute factor that determines the outcome of a fight, Nanjun Yuan said to a young man beside him. It was his son. Father, I want to go up on the arena, the young man said. Today's battle is not suitable. There must be a meaning to the battle. Nanjun Yuan shook his head. Today wasn't a grand event for fighting. It was a grand event for one side to show off their strength and the other side to embarrass themselves. The Southern Dipper sect couldn't embarrass the Medicine Valley. Of course, they couldn't stand up for the Medicine Valley either. Very well. I don't know if the Medicine Valley dares to fight to the death. After you go up on the arena, don't go down until you die, Tianyi stood up and said. Hearing Tianyi's words, Nanjun Yuan frowned. This was ruthless. They were going to fight to the death with the lives of their disciples. The faces of the people from the Fire Tiger sect, the Tai family of Nanyang City, the O family of Aitley Castle, and the Greenwater sect changed. If the Medicine Valley agreed, then the next battle would be a fight to the death. Those who continued to fight would have to face the endless battles even if they won. Tianyi, are the lives of the disciples of the Golden Flame sect so worthless? The great elder said with a cold face. This is the fate of the cultivators. Why don't you dare? Tianyi sneered and said. Great elder, disciple will pick you up. Lan Yu, who was sitting behind Crepe Myrtle, stood up and walked outside. Night Sorrow exhaled, reached out and took away Yang Lei's hand on his shoulder and walked out of his seat. Lan Yu, wait for a moment. Let me do it. Master, Great Elder, disciple is willing to fight. Night Sorrow walked out and bowed to Yang Yu. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.